The chips are down, and will the fat lady sing tonight? Live from Budweiser Gardens, we have Game 6 of the Halifax Hurricanes play against the London Lightning, who have a 3-2 edge, and it could be all over tonight depending on what happens. We say good evening to each and every one of you live on Knoxdom.tv. We have Chris Croucher joining us as always. And Chris, Games 3, 4, and 5 were in Halifax, and it's seen London take 2 of those 3 games. We begin with Game 3. London took that game away despite Royce White getting suspended in future times, but it was a good Game 3 nonetheless.
Yeah, I think Game 3 was one of the most interesting games of the series. Of course, you had Royce with the ball throw that got him a suspension there, but in terms of the way London played, I think that was the first game in the series where, even though they won Game 1, I think this was the one where they truly got everyone executing closer to the way they want to. It was the best, I think, quarter-to-quarter effort that we saw from London in the finals. It was just a real good game by London overall.
And flipping over to Game 4, where the determining fate switched over to the Halifax Hurricanes side. They won minus Royce White. They won that by 9. It was a good game throughout, but Halifax once again pulling away with their big arsenal.
Yeah, and for Halifax, that was almost the opposite of Game 3. Halifax had a lot of good things going. And of course, from the look of London, you could kind of tell it was a team that was missing a chunk of their playbook, I think. They were missing part of that with Royce White out of the game. And that really led them to struggle to kind of generate offense. And Halifax did a great job defensively, too. They really hit the boards hard in that game. And I think that's what led to Halifax taking Game 4.
And from that, Game 5 started what would be the rest of the series as a best-of-3 series. London Lightning pulling out in the dying minutes of this ball game, just really tearing it. Halifax didn't have any answers at all, and it didn't help out the fact that Billy White and C.J. Washington got hurt.
Yeah, and I think those two being out was a huge loss because you lose not only a bulk of your scoring on the inside, but also one of the ways Halifax had been getting to London was through hitting the boards, and you lose 2 of your best rebounders in those injuries. And that kind of gave London free range for those extra opportunities. And the way Halifax, they do a good job of getting 3-pointers, but a lot of that comes from the extra opportunities generated by the way they hit the glass. And when they were missing those extra opportunities, even when they got some hot scoring from outside, it wasn't enough to really catch London.
And for Halifax, what do you do to fill in that void when Billy White goes down? You have a big guy, Antoine Mason, dropping 36, but once again, not enough to capitalize over the London Lightning, but a great exhibition by him nonetheless.
Yeah, Antoine Mason is really the big hope here for Halifax to try and take Game 6. They need him to really light it up, get those outside shooters hot early, do a lot of ball movement to get those open looks that they need to make sure that those open looks get converted. And it's going to be a little harder now they don't have that rebounding, but they do have guys who can do it. We've seen Tyrone Watson hit the glass excellently in the playoffs so far. A guy like him's going to have to step up on the boards to really carry things for the Halifax Hurricanes down low.
And right here, we go over the Game 6 right now. We go for the keys of the game. First off, for the London Lightning. Kyle Julia's squad, they got to play with the open mind and stay level-headed throughout. How do they do that for these 48 minutes?
I think for London, it's about balance and keeping everyone involved in the offense. They're at their best when they have multiple people contributing. I look at Game 1 where they had no one over 20 points, but multiple players in the double digits. I think that's London at their best, when they're able to hit you with a lot of variety, hit you in a lot of different ways, and really put up points that way. I think that's when they play their best basketball, and I think that's going to be the key tonight.
And for the Halifax Hurricanes, of course, there's a burdens on their shoulders, their backs are on the wall. Insert your cliche here when it comes to the world of sports. What is the answer to all of those voids that are in the postgame tonight?
Well, even with those guys missing, I still think you need to double down, even especially with those guys missing, because you miss guys who are able to cover Royce White. I think you're going to have to double him almost every time he touches the ball. And I think it's also going to be important to move the ball and make sure that they're taking efficient shots because they won't have that rebounding there. They won't have those extra opportunities. You got to make every attempt count. So I think for Halifax, that's going to be one of the keys to the game for them.
I see. Earlier this week, the NBLC has announced their all-Canadian teams as well as everything else. What stood out to you the most when it came to releasing that list?
Well, I like the fact that they actually went and they made amends for the fact that there were players who were missing off those first 2 teams. They went and made sure those guys got their recognition. And I think if you look at those 15 guys, every single one of them really deserves to be there. Which team they should be on, I'll leave that up to the fans. But I think overall they ended up getting the right 15 guys to win those awards.
This crowd is ready to party, but first off, they got to make sure their London Lightning stay on the right track for 4 quarters. So we're going to see how Game 6 unfolds. Will Halifax force a Game 7, or will the London Lightning finish it off right here? The pursuit is still going on right now, so it's a matter of who does the most. But you asked my personal 2 cents. Royce White, among everything else, could possibly be the playoff MVP. We've seen the hardware earlier, Chris. I mean, who do you think are top 3 contenders for the MVP award should the Lightning finish it off?
If the Lightning finish it off, I think you got to look 2 Lightning players, 1 Halifax player who I think has been magnificent in the finals. Looking at the scoring average, and I'm going to be easy with it, I'd go the top 3 scorers. You got Royce White sitting at number 1 with his finals average. I think he'd be the favorite for MVP. Then I'd look at a guy like Antoine Mason, who, if Halifax is able to win some games with the injuries that they have, I think he's going to be the guy to do it. He's going to put up some very impressive numbers to do it. He's already got the highest scoring game of any player in these finals. So I think he'd be a guy you look at, win or lose. And then also, if I'm looking for the third candidate, I'd look back in London. Garrett Williamson has been very efficient. Does a lot two-way play. It reminds me of when Iguodala won it for the Golden State Warriors. I think Garrett Williamson would be a guy you look at for that award.
And there you have it. There's the story right there. But I'm quite impressed of how all these players are coming around and they're impressing the daylights out of everybody. Ryan Anderson, for one, I mean, if Halifax wants to cap off Game 6 and force a Game 7, they would have to stop him, mainly stopping their sharpshooters. But he's among one of my candidates because the way he catches and shoots, nobody can stop him and nobody can contest him because he has that quite great of an arc and a setup to go in the all together.
Well, it's a very quick release on that shot, too. It doesn't stay in his hands very long, and he's a very accurate player. He had a rough Game 4, but every other game in this finals, he's been pretty magnificent.
No question about it. And I've seen a lot of other players on Halifax, like you mentioned. Billy White, he had an amazing exhibition for the first few games until he went down. And then it took a lot of players like Antoine Mason to fill in the void and all that. I mean, if Halifax does top it as a 7, I will agree with you on that. He should deserve MVP honors because without him, Halifax would have no challenges to the paint and they would have no confidence when it comes to setting up for the shot. So it could go either way tonight. But here's a fun fact for you right now. No NBL Canada Final Series has finished off in 6 games. We've seen it go to 5 games in the first 2 years. And in the altogether, we've seen them go to 3 straight Game 7s, in which the Windsor Express won it in 2014 and 15, and the Hurricanes, as a reversal of fortune, went to 7 games. Thanks to Justin Johnson, they wouldn't be able to win the championship back then, but it's hard to believe.
Huge effort back then, too. Wow.
Hard to believe it was a year ago, and Halifax could have won it. No, London could have won it all if it wasn't for a tip in that forced Game 7. But Justin Johnson, once again, a dramatic effort. But now you look at this year, it's a reversal of fortune. We basically got a new squad. We got a new coach, but not necessarily new to the league, considering how Mike Leslie has been accustomed to this league as the assistant coach of Joe Salerno's Island Storm. So he's done a tremendous job nonetheless.
Yeah, and I think one of the interesting, historical parallels, I guess, remember, it was a 3-2 series in Game 6 of last series between these two teams, and it took a marvelous effort in Game 6 to send it to a Game 7 here, and I think that's what Halifax is going to have to do here to bring it to a Game 7. They're going to have to bring up a similar kind of effort as London did last year to really get themselves back in.
And now, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to honor our country first with the anthem and then get things started with the player introductions. And then Game 6 with John Van Halley and Chris Croucher. We'll see you folks at the Knockstrom halftime. But for now, sit back, relax, and enjoy Game 6 of the NBL Canada Finals, which is right here, live on Knockstrom.tv.
Okay, welcome sports fans to Budweiser Gardens here in London, Ontario on a Monday night, June 5. I think summer's coming soon. Chris?
Yeah, just about. It's around the corner there.
Well, anyway, this always feels like the end of a nice basketball season, the end of spring, beginning of summer. Game number 6 between the London Lightning and the Halifax Hurricanes. For those that missed the intro between Chris and Aaron, that was a great intro, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Covered a lot of topics there. This almost, I don't know if you can call this in the finals, but David and Goliath, is that stretching it too far?
Well, I don't know if the league would like that. The official hashtag is Goliath versus Goliath.
Well, I think
the marketing campaign out of the water.
I think Goliath's missing a part of their extremities there. We're talking about 2 key players. Looking at the stats, Chris, like how do they replace 36 points and 19 rebounds between the 2 players that are injured and missing?
It's going to be very difficult. They're going to have to lean on guys like Tyrone Watson to really step up their game on the inside. And I mean, they were kind of getting away with not double-teaming Royce White every single time on the floor. Now I think you have to do that, although Tyrone Watson does have the bulk and he's done an all-right job defending White in the couple of times where they have been matched up against each other. What's difficult for Halifax is not only are Washington and White excellent players, but they're also similar in that they get their points on the inside. There aren't really a lot of bigs on Halifax who get their points on the inside other than Watson. You know, guys like Ronaldo Dixon, they play a lot more on the outside, so it's going to be difficult for them to find that balance to their offense of balancing inside and outside play.
Well, I'm just looking at the starting lineup for the Halifax Hurricanes, so interesting. Of course, Watson, we know he's been playing terrific all season. Warden holding his own on the defensive boards. Joey Haywood, typically the first sub off the bench. He's starting tonight. He did score 18 in the last game. Clifford Clinkscale's been playing lots and lots of minutes, 10 assists per game. Not scoring as much maybe as I think. He might need to score more tonight. And of course, Antoine Mason, who's been on fire, and I can say that legitimately, on fire for the Halifax. And then, of course, the aforementioned Ronaldo Dixon coming off the bench, filling in for White and Washington, who are missing through injuries. So what does that leave them on the bench?
Not a whole lot, and that's the problem, because they were already having issues with their depth. And one of the other problems with Halifax is their depth was a bit of a roller coaster. You never knew which guy was going to be the guy you could rely on off the bench. They were lucky in that usually someone was able to be relied on, so one guy would step up. But now that you're digging into that depth, you're taking away that option. You're taking away that guy who could come and heat it up off the bench, be that microwave player for your team. And that's something they're missing. It's going to be a challenge for Halifax. They're a good team. They're incredibly well coached. So don't count them out of this series at all. But there definitely are question marks that they're going to have to answer in this game.
Well, they did take 2 out of 3 in Halifax to get back into the series. They're down 3 games to 2. Lightning on their home court. A big home crowd. Standing ovation even before the game has started. Waiting for the player intros, which are coming shortly. So London Lightning starting with their familiar 5, I call them. We call them the starters, but there's so many players that play so many minutes here for London. Of course, we're going to have Tyler Johnson, who scored 27 last game. What a welcome sign for the London Lightning if that happens again. That's Tyler Johnson coming onto the floor as we speak. Canadian player, if you're not familiar, Junior Canutin out of Marquette, as you heard over the announcer. Play some ball for the national team as well. And he gets a big shove out of his crowd of teammates. We're talking Ryan Anderson, they call him the Hitman. He hit 33 points a couple of games ago, and he's playing terrific defense as well.
He's one of those guys who's had to take on an extra role, playing on the inside a bit without them having a true big to have on the inside.
Garrett Williamson, who I call the glue guy. Every team has a glue guy. I call him the glue guy. Whatever the team needs, he'll do it. Scoring, rebound, defense. And of course, the most valuable player of the season, Royce White. London really missed him when he missed a game there in Halifax. Halifax made him pay for it. But Royce White averaging a double-double.
And for London to have Royce White back in, of course, he missed Game 4 with that suspension, and then put in a magnificent effort in Game 5. You could tell in Game 4 they were kind of missing a chunk of their playbook without him. He's a guy that when he's really clicking, he is the engine that drives the Lightning car. He's the key to that team.
Everything seems to go through him on offense.
Exactly.
It's not necessarily him scoring, but he's the starting point.
And they can give him the ball anywhere, and he's able to create from anywhere, whether he's in the post or the top of the key. A lot of the time you'll see him at top of the key outside the three-point line and just setting up for a pass even. They really do everything on their offense through Royce White.
Well, big game here tonight for both teams. Unfortunately, Halifax coming in a bit injured. I'm not sure if it's going to be a true test, but there's enough players, I think, on that team that London has to be very careful not to let anyone get hot and keep them in the game. Anything can happen if it's close to the end of the game, as we've seen many times, and we've seen in the playoffs last year.
And I think the move of putting Joey Haywood in the starting lineup is with an eye on getting the outside shooting going early. We saw in Game 1, that was a game where they struggled to shoot the 3-ball at all. And that really put them behind the 8-ball for really the rest of the game. So I think knowing that they're missing those guys on inside, they want to focus on getting their outside shots and seeing if they can outscore London in the early going and force London to make the effort of chasing all game.
Well, it's been a good series. Halifax did win the second game here at the buzzer, just preventing London from scoring with no time running out to steal Game 2, keep them back in the series. It's been really alternating wins and losses, it feels like, doesn't it?
Just about, and that's one of the challenges for Halifax, though, is that they come back to London, a building where they've got to do something that no one has been able to do all season long, and that's beat London twice. So that's going to be the challenge in front of the Halifax Hurricanes here, coming back into Bud Gardens.
Well, here's hoping for a good Halifax effort and a competitive game, and maybe we do it all over again tomorrow night.
I should clarify when I say beat London twice, at home.
Yes, at home, yes.
Not all season. They've already beat them twice in the series.
Yes, that's true, yes.
Before I see the comments fill up there.
Well, Halifax has shown they have what they got. They've got what it takes to beat London, but they are missing 2 key players. And like I said, that's a lot of points and a lot of rebounds out of the equation. They have to make it up somewhere. Well, that's Tyrone Watson going to do the jump ball, looks like, for Halifax. Number 14, if you're looking on the screens, Antoine Mason. 12 is the point guard, Clifford Clinkscale. 22 is the filling in for the bigs, Ronaldo Dixon, even though he's not necessarily a power forward. And of course, one of our favorite players, Joey Haywood, who's wearing number 5 tonight, in case you're looking on there. Not sure why he's wearing Otieno's sweater. What happened to his number 7, I'm not sure. So, but I caught that.
That is an odd one.
That's definitely Joey Haywood. I recognize the face. I recognize the style of play. So don't get fooled. Of course, Royce White taking the tip off for London Lightning. Anderson gets to scramble. Nearly an over back to start the game. Watson on Anderson. That's a tough matchup for Watson. Lots of pressure by Dixon. I think another thing we're going to have to really look out for here in Halifax, that is White just fighting hard to the hot shooter from last game, and he continues his shooting.
What a pass out of the post there from Royce White. I don't know how he found him, but a brilliant feed, and Kyle Johnson able to finish.
This is Mason. He's able to generate his shot quite easily off the dribble, let alone as a good outside shooter. He's being guarded by no other but White, and this is Cadogan with the steal, starting with the fast break, throwing it to Williamson, a terrific pass by Anderson, and they are revved up by the London Lightning.
And another beautiful pass there, Ryan Anderson threading the needle to the cutting player right there. Great play from the Lightning, and they're already showing that chemistry that makes them so dangerous.
We were watching them in warm-ups. They certainly were intense in their warm-ups. They are not letting up here. Anderson on Haywood. For the quick jump shot. That's his ability to get his shot off quickly. He has great quick ups. Not the tallest player on the court, and he gets his shot off quickly.
And he's really a hot shooter too. You don't want to let him get going, because as soon as he starts to feel it, that's when he tends to make a bunch in a row.
White fighting hard inside. Halifax able to hold him off as Clinkscale back to a tough shot. No call on the fouls. That, I believe, is going to be... No, just ball knocked out of bounds. The referee's letting them play so far.
Just wonder what's going down on the other end there. Joey Haywood stayed down a bit, just on one knee. He's back in the play there.
You mean Otieno? That's his
yeah,
name.
Well, Dak Stats has him as Otieno as well. That's definitely Joey Haywood.
Well, I know it is. Watson, who I call the glue guy for Halifax, he does everything that needs to be done for Halifax. Again, inside the post, nice strong post play by Ronaldo Dixon. He got position deep. That's a good pass by Haywood, or Clinkscale, sorry.
And that's what Dixon can do. He usually is a stretch, but he does have nice footwork in the post when he gets going, and Dixon there with a nice finish.
Well, they're steady diet of Royce White inside against Dixon, trying to get him in foul trouble. Terrific left hand holding his position. Joey Haywood with the quick shot again. He's going to get his own rebound. No, he doesn't. Garrett Williamson does the dirty work and picks up the defensive rebound. Here we go with the set play that we talked about. The ball up high. He just holds it and waiting for the backdoor cut. This time Anderson with a long three. He's feeling it too. And the Anderson and Johnson combo is going to be deadly if they keep shooting like that for Halifax.
I know it's only 10-4, but you might want to think about calling timeout and calming things down here. London is dialed in. They had the trophy out on the media table before the game, and every single Lightning player gave it a nice stare down before they came onto the court. This is a team that's locked in.
Dixon with a fadeaway jumper that looked awkward. Junior Cadogan pushing the ball, and we had a much smaller player, and a handoff to White for the slam, and Dixon had no answer for that. Have another look at that one if we get a chance. Terrific handoff that time by Cadogan. He's just so smooth at getting his shot off, is he not?
And that was a difficult one. He had a lot of guys to break through there.
And the step over, unable to convert, was Williamson. That was terrific all around. Then Dixon sweeps up the rebound. Just Clinkscale again. Guess he's got a green light because he's playing, right? So somebody's got to look for the scoring somewhere, but did not look very smooth for Ronaldo Dixon that time. Just smooth off the backboard. Dixon just has to back off a little, I know. They're not going deep, so he's not trying to get into foul trouble either. White just dominating inside. Just Clinkscale with a little smooth. up and over. That's Watson doing the dirty work again on the offensive board. I really like his game.
Yeah, he's really a modern power forward if you look at his game style, in that he's both able to back down an opponent, play in the post, but also great at passing out of the post, as we see a nice little replay here. They're going to call the foul on Williamson, I believe, for grabbing Watson's arm on that attempt.
Well, this is a sub-rotation I was thinking was going to happen, so Cox comes in for Dixon. Provides even a little more size yet. And he gets the ball inside with White guarding him. Quick double team by Anderson. See what Cox can bring. Anderson sniffed out that backdoor cut. A terrific bounce pass to Johnson, who was unable to hold on to it, but that is Mason. Knocks it out of bounds. No foul called. Mason puts his hand up for a foul, but the referees are letting him play, which I think is the right thing to do.
When the player's acknowledging the foul and the ref doesn't, interesting move there, but that time Mason just making sure there's no easy buckets for London. You got to slow them down.
White taking a three-pointer, and he's on fire. Oh, my.
Yeah, Coach Leslie's taking the time out there. When Royce White's making his threes as well, you got to slow this down and listen to that crowd.
It is a packed house down here on the lower level. Too many empty seats on the court side, that's for sure.
And again, just a really, really perfect start for the London Lightning. Just about every shot seems to be going. They're 67% shooting right now in the early going of the game, including perfect from three-point land. So that'll tell you just how hot the shooting for the London Lightning is right now.
Royce White's been involved in almost every one of those baskets.
Whether it's
Here's
passing,
the handoff or the slam dunk I wanted to see. There it is right there.
Well, whether it's passing or shooting, he's just doing a magnificent job right now. And again, everyone on London gave that trophy a stare down when it was parked on the media table there. They are dialed in. They know what they can do tonight, and they're locked in. No one touched it.
All right.
Because almost everyone at the media table was swatting their hand away if they went for a poke.
Okay, 17-6. Early quick lead for London Lightning over the Halifax Hurricanes here in Game 6 at Budweiser Garden. Like I said, I'm Jonathan Howling along with Chris Croucher calling this game for you.
And it looks like they've got Haywood his correct jersey now. Not sure what happened there. But they got him his proper jersey.
All right, well, good thing I spotted it. It didn't mix me up at all. It's unmistakable who Joey Haywood is anyway. As soon as you see him do a jump shot, you know who it is.
You know, he has that quick release, too. And, of course, in this game, we've got multiple Canadian of the Year awards can be on the floor at any time. There's the two Joey Haywood won during the first 2 years of NBL Canada, and then Garrett Williamson won the third one. So a lot of former hardware could be on the floor at any given time for these teams. You've got multiple players with rings. You've got Marvin Phillips, a former Finals MVP. Royce White, the current MVP. Tyrone Watson, another former Canadian of the Year. So just a lot of guys with a lot of NBL history in this game.
So what were you guys talking about the all-Canadian selections at the intro? I sort of missed that little piece.
Well, the NBL Canada, they released their all-Canadian teams they released 3 teams of 5 players on each team.
Well, like a first, second, third.
Yeah, it's like it's like an all-star team, or they don't actually play any games. They just say, you know, these are, if we were to play a game, this would be the team. And a lot of Canadian players, a lot of former CIS talent getting some recognition from NBL Canada.
Long attempt by Klinkscale. We have seen him make that a few times, and we had thought that maybe he should be scoring more for this team. I think tonight that's what they're going to need from him, because London has been backing off and making him an assist person.
You don't even need him to score 20 points. You just need him to make a couple so that London has to think about him when they're defending, and just kind of put that little seed of doubt in their minds.
Dugan with the step-back jumper, and he can make that shot. Shot clock was running down, no other options, but he buries it. Klinkscale again with the ball. Beautiful bounce pass. Nobody on. Cox.
Anthony Cox, another one of those guys who's really going to have to step up on the inside in the absence of Washington and White. Well, he's an interesting guy. He's younger, and he's had a couple of good games, but it's been a bit of a consistency thing. Pardon me.
There'll be a foul on Klinkscale. A nice screen set inside there by Capers. Capers in the ball game for London. Garrett Williamson get an early break. Makes his first. There's a buzz about the building, isn't there?
There's a lot of energy, especially in the city. Even just talking to people around the city and having them ask about the team, they know what's going on. They know how close a championship could be. But he's going to try and do everything he can to put a stop. Great shot by Clinkscales.
And the stare down to his defensive man, Kyle Johnson, who had backed off on him, anticipating a pass inside. That's twice now that Clinkscale has made that three.
And that's why it's important to make those threes, because then you give that seed of doubt to defenders.
And a quick turnaround for Halifax. A three-pointer and a fast break. London not reacting. They've closed it to 4. Halifax closing the gap from that early 17-6 lead that London had. Big three-pointer by Ryan Anderson. I tell you, if he's on fire tonight, look out. He's got a tough matchup here with Watson, who's much stronger than him. Watson up and under. Big rebound by Cox, one-handed outside quickly to Haywood, who couldn't hang on to it, but the clock was reset. Inside again. Anderson got a big again. He's guarded. White stuck outside with Haywood. Clinkscale with Johnson. Johnson not letting him go anywhere this time. And a fadeaway that time. He does not get the friendly roll. Anderson with the defensive board.
I think Clinkscales recognizes someone's got to step up the scoring, and he's trying to be that guy. Ryan Anderson unable to make the big three there.
Long three-point attempt. Bit of a heat check there, I would say. He's made 2 already. This is Haywood again. Oh my goodness, he gets up quick.
It's almost impossible to stop that release because it's out of his hands almost as soon as it touches him.
He's shooting it. He's already letting go on the way up already. This is White with the ball with Cox on him. Drop off for Johnson, who was hot, unable to convert. A little bit of off balance. Good pressure by Clinkscale that time. This is Mason bringing the ball up.
And I see the comments already going into me for saying Anthony Cox is a younger player. My apologies. Looked at the number wrong. Thought it was a 2, not a 3.
That time a blown assignment. Keepers with the easy putback. Cadogan spots that. Team sort of taking turn, losing their intensity there for a possession. I think any coach will tell you every possession is important at this time. Mason with a long three-point attempt, sort of a hopeful shot.
Halifax looking just a little disjointed right now. Not a lot of communication going on.
Dugan with all kinds of time to line it up after a terrific change his mind kind of pass by Royce White. Throws it into the corner. London's good efficiency on the offense so far. White with a quick jump out on Haywood. Haywood again, quick up off the backboard, unable to guard, and you can take it off the rim. If you're wondering, fans, if you haven't learned that in the NBL, that was Capers taking it right off the rim, which you're allowed to do. And Royce White just muscling his way down there. Nothing the defender could do.
Cox kind of got stuck in no man's land there. He's a little too close to White just because that's where White ended up after getting around his defender. There wasn't a lot that Cox could do in that play.
Liberal substitutions here by London already. We're at just under the 4-minute mark. I'm counting how many players have already come on the floor. It's 5. I think 8 players have already hit the floor for the London Lightning. First foul shot missed, 28-18, 10-point lead. We talked about this early on in the series too, where it takes a lot of energy to come back from 10 points every time to close the gap. You do that multiple times in a game, how much have you got left at the end? And being shorthanded tonight, that might be costly for Halifax.
Going to see Royce White check out of the game here, replaced by Marvin Phillips, a former Finals MVP.
Yes, we already said that earlier this season. What a pickup. Marvin Phillips, partway through the season, about a quarter of the way in, they picked him up. What a terrific rotation. Aaron Bowen on the floor if you're looking for number 15. This is Mason just driving the hoop. No foul call. It looked like there was a lot of contact. He was trying to draw contact. Joel Friesen steps into a 3. He knows right away, and there's a lot of contact underneath the court there with Marcus Capers. And who's that underneath him? Oh, the smallest guy on the floor, Clifford Clinkscale. Who is the foul on?
They're going to give that one to Clinkscales there.
That's his second already. My goodness. He is their primary ball handler, plays a lot of minutes, averaging over 10 assists per game. Friesen gets the inside position but cannot hang on to it. Gets sort of shoved out of bounds, but no foul call. Yes, Rich Stellick, the head referee on the court, and I think was voted or elected as the best referee in the league this year, overruled the other official and said that was definitely a force out. That's a foul. It's 4 team fouls here for the Halifax Hurricanes. Referee's just clarifying who the foul was on. It'll be London's ball, 14 seconds left in the shot clock. They want to go to Phillips if they can, but yes it is. He's got down to 6 seconds. He's doing a tough fadeaway jump shot. Good defense that time by Cox. Clinkscale still with the ball. Nice interior pass to Cox. Free shot for Bowen and does not make him pay, and that's Cox with a big rebound. That's knocked out by Friesen. That'll be Halifax ball.
You know, it's going to be important for this unit right here for the Halifax Hurricanes to put up some points and to, at the very least, just keep the game within reach. Again, guys missing for Halifax, so there's going to be a lot of extra weight that this bench unit has to pull.
Bowen, this is to number 5, Otieno, wearing his real sweater with a real name on it, getting some playing time. And a steal by Doug Herring Jr. He's looking for the fast break. Halifax does a good job getting back. That's Williamson. Gets forced out. The ball is nearly stolen. He's out of bounds, I believe, is Williamson. Good pressure by Clinkscale. He's got his playing game face on, doesn't he?
He really does. He's a battler, and he's one of the most experienced players in NBL Canada. Of course, he's spent a lot of time in Halifax, both with the Hurricanes and the Rainmen, and has a ring from last year's team, of course, as well.
Mason with the spin around. Great hang time. Gets hammered. Stares down Friesen, his former teammate, I believe, last year on Halifax. I don't know if Friesen played. I wasn't sure if Mason was on the same team or not. Big stare down. We've seen a few of those stare downs so far. Halifax showing some machismo.
Well, there's definitely a little bit of, I don't want to say bad blood, but a bit of a rivalry between the two teams
after
here.
5 games, what do you think, right?
There's going to be a little bit of dislike between the two teams, and I think that's a little what those stare downs are about. Pardon me.
Well, I have tons of respect for Halifax, that's for sure. Knowing that we've seen London Lightning, all season here as announcers, and we've only seen Halifax once during the regular season. But they've come in here and shown the grit and determination of a playoff team and a number 1 team from the East. Williamson with a step under. That's a Ginobili type of move, wasn't it? Just unable to finish, even with his left hand. And that's Mason. He draws the foul again. He's a one-man wrecking crew at the moment.
You know, here's one of the things for Halifax that they can look at as a positive in this quarter. This bench unit's been doing an excellent job. They've closed the gap up just a little bit here. It's not too crazy so far. They're doing a good job here fighting.
Well, it's 29-21, 8 points. This is his first one, well short. He has not been off the floor yet, I don't believe. Sometimes that shows you don't lift with your legs on your foul shot. Makes his second. Phillips quickly inbounds to half the Capers. Capers with the ball, a little roll. That should be off. A Halifax player, I believe, Otieno.
I think he's saying that when he swatted it, hit Phillips in the leg, but I don't know if it made contact with Marvin there.
I thought it went off Otieno's leg from what I saw quickly. Either way, it's London ball with 12 seconds left in the shot clock. Phillips with a pump fake up in the air. Williamson again with the stutter step. And he hammers it off the backboard and in. That's a late whistle call by Stellick, but that's the right call. There was definitely body contact. He should be shooting 2. That was a quick move by, I think that's Bowen there, I believe.
Yeah, and I thought Garrett did everything he could to get out of the way, but Bowen did a good job of avoiding the charge. Williamson was really lining up for that. Bowen avoided that and still was able to draw contact on his way up.
Unsuccessful on the first attempt. Good looking shot on the second one, so 1 for 2. Minute 21 left to go here in the first quarter. 31-23 for the London Lightning. Doug Heron Jr. directing traffic. Both got Phillips and White on there, Royce White. Long three-point shot. Phillips taps the ball himself, and but under he makes a
Really nice rebound from Marvin Phillips. Just tapped it to himself and able to
get an
finish.
assist for that too? Like tapping the ball yourself, you get a rebound and an assist?
You should.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Here's a look at a big guy, number 9. We haven't seen much of him. That's Corianti DeBerry.
It's his first game here in London.
He's got some size. See how that impacts the play. Royce White, the ball up top, nowhere to go. He's going to repost him underneath. He's got Mason on him. Anderson with the long three-point shot, ready to shoot at an instant notice. That's a la Del Curry, Steph Curry quickness, isn't it?
Incredible from Ryan Anderson. He was so deep. He was just about at that gray London, Ontario logo there when he shot that. Brilliant shot.
Well, I had to give a shout out to Del Curry, the former Raptor, right? His son playing, of course, the Golden State Warriors. The quick trigger.
Learned how to shoot in Toronto.
Absolutely. Nice drive again. Just misses off the buzzer, but that's the second or third time that Bowen's been able to get into the key. He just misses that one. 36-25, 11-point lead for the Lightning over the Hurricanes.
You know, that was pretty much the perfect quarter there for the London Lightning, just shooting the ball excellently, almost 60% in that quarter. A magnificent job from the London Lightning, just shooting the ball. And one of the things we talked about that Halifax was going to miss with Billy White and CJ Washington out was the rebounding. And Halifax has done all right. They've got 9 rebounds to London's 10. Literally 1 defensive rebound is the only difference. However, one of the other things we talked about in the pregame was moving the ball around to open up some outside shots. Haven't been able to do that. Only 4 assists compared to 10 for London, including only 2 of 6 from three-point land. Now, 33% is not a terrible average, but you want to see that number go up as the game goes on, not down. And that so far is the story. Both teams taking care of the ball. 3-2 turnovers.
Look at those 3-point shots for London Lightning.
Yeah, 6 of 10 compared to that 2 of 6 for Halifax.
Wow, yes.
Now here's the problem. I don't know if London's going to be able to keep up that kind of shooting. And if Halifax starts making their threes, that's how you get back. If they can close out on defense.
Yeah, you don't want to fall in love with it, right?
Exactly.
So.
If Halifax can close out on defense, force London to stop making those 3-point shots and start making a couple of their own, this is going to be a very different game. So I know it's an 11-point difference, but that's one that could close very closely, very quickly, pardon me, if things start to go Halifax's way.
Well, 11-point lead after 1 quarter. That's a lot of points to give up. 36 points in 1 quarter. It is a high-scoring league, we know, and London Lightning is the highest-scoring team in the league at around 115 per game. But if I'm doing my math, that's going to be about 144 points by the end of the night.
Reasonable.
That'd be a few too many. Halifax needs to slow down. London, 25 points scoring is decent. They were averaging about 105, I think, was Halifax for the season, so they're right on their average of scoring. But defensively, they were the best defensive team in the league, but they do have 2 big holes missing. CJ Washington, for those fans don't know, and Billy White tonight for Game 6.
Looks like Halifax trying to use every second of that break there.
They are.
Get a shot of Kyle Johnson there. He's been one of the better shooters for London, alongside Ryan Anderson as well. Both guys been shooting really well from beyond the arc all series long.
Yeah, sometimes you can sort of see where the coach is going. In this case, Coach Kyle Julius. He's got 2 bigs that usually sub each other out. 2 of the hot 3-point shooters, and then Junior Cadogan, the point guard, who doesn't normally score. I think it's going to be an inside-out game. That's what I'm thinking. course, Clinkscale still on the court. They need a lot of minutes out of him. Antoine Mason, a tough cover for anybody. Clinkscale, again, good ball rotation so far, but good defensive recovery here by London. Clinkscale's forced to take a long three. That should be knocked out of bounds by Otieno, I thought.
You're going to say that's out on Anderson.
It is out on Anderson, so good pursuit that time by Halifax. Shot clock gets reset, back to 24. Another chance to cut into this lead. It's a holding foul on Cadogan. I love that move from Antoine Mason. I don't know if you can see that again, but he's dribble penetration. He just gets enough contact with the shoulder, the upper body of the defender, totally legal, and the defender goes flying. And there's nothing illegal about it. There you go. You see it right there.
It's just a power move right there.
It is a power move, yes.
And it gives him so much space.
It really does. He's strong upper body. Looking inside to the big guy, White. We're talking about DeBerry, of course. He's making his move. Push shot. Not quite the control he wanted, but he did get his shot off against White. Phillips. Looks like he's getting held that time by Mason. Mason just not able to hold his position. Quick spot by Royce White that Marvin Phillips had the advantage in the side. Phillips goes off with Garrett Williamson back on the floor.
There's a replay of that attempted pass there from Royce White.
Yeah, he definitely had the position there.
It's a little high for Phillips to grab. Look how close they're playing Ryan Anderson now when he's beyond the arc.
A scramble, but Williamson just staying in there, and he gets hammered by that big guy, Orianti DeBerry. But it's just tenacious in there, him and Anderson. They were not giving up that ball underneath the net. Have another look at it. Here's Williamson, quick reaction back, and just gets hammered that time by DeBerry.
You know, Williamson has to get hit about as much as a hockey player, the way he plays on the inside. And really generates fouls from his play, does a lot of the tough things, makes a great job getting 2 points there, or pardon me, getting himself to the line for the chance to get 2 points.
Yeah, he doesn't mind getting hit or mixing it up with the big guys. He's not the biggest of frames, but he's definitely in there. Johnson on Clinkscale. He's trying to free up Mason. Cadogan not giving him any time. Forcing him to give up the ball. Not helping out on defense either. Hard move that time. That time DeBerry does the stuff that he can do on the boards. Tips it to himself for the easy putback.
And good job on being quick to put it back up too. He didn't wait, he didn't bring it back down. Just went straight up with it.
There's communication that time between Cadogan, a turnover for London, and Royce White, that is. Watson had a nice extended break. Mason's coming off the floor, I think, for the first time, I think.
It feels like it.
I don't remember him being off yet.
I think it might be. He was briefly, I believe, during the first.
Seen some minutes out of Kenny Otieno. We haven't seen much of him this series, but sort of necessity calling for some tonight. Tripped by White. You can't put that ball in front of you that easily without White going for it. DeBerry's going to have to learn that.
Well, he led Iowa State in all 5 major categories, and steals being one of them, so he knows how to rip the ball from a guy's hands.
Yeah, we haven't said that for a while because our London fans are quite familiar with it, maybe not the Halifax fans, but that is an amazing stat. DeBerry unable to finish underneath, doing a good job battling for the boards, but Anderson coming away with the rebound. A step over move and a left-handed, and DeBerry just gets caught out of position. What a terrific... It's just like slow motion, but it's not slow motion. He's just under so much control is Royce White.
Well, it's so much poise when he has the ball in his hands. Like, look at this play. From up where we are, well, obviously this is slow motion, but even at regular time, it feels like slow motion because there's such a control and intent to every move. It really is a treat to watch.
Well, Ronaldo Dixon back in the floor for DeBerry. So we've seen some players that haven't got a whole lot of playing time in this series, playing some more minutes in this first half. Wise move, I think, by Coach Mike Leslie. Game is still 12 points, so not a huge lead, but it is some breathing time for, I think, the main 5 or 6 he's going to go for in the second half. Clinkscale with the dribble penetration. Left hand just like a maestro. Put it on a platter up off the backboard. Williamson has got a much smaller player on him. We'll see if he takes advantage of it. This is Anderson. Everybody sloughed off on him, and he just lines it up. Nobody came to force him to put the ball on the floor. That's his third 3, I believe, tonight already.
You just got to know who's getting that ball. Ryan Anderson absolutely drilling every shot from beyond the arc. If he gets the ball, someone's got to close out on him.
Watson again. What a battler inside. I can't say enough praise for Tyrone Watson, the game that he plays.
Just a very tough, scrappy game. Really battles down low. That time he's got 2 different guys really trying to affect that shot. And he also goes up, obviously, for the rebound there. Anderson grabbing on the arm, letting Watson go to the line.
Well, he can play on my team anytime, so makes his first foul shot, closes the gap slightly. 43-30 it is right now. Lightning threatening to blow this away. Halifax has really got to be careful the next few minutes that it doesn't get past 20 points. That's always so tough to come back from. He's feeling it, but I don't know if that's in. It is in. Oh my goodness!
What a shot from Ryan Anderson again.
Balance, no less. When you're feeling it, you're feeling it. I would say arguably he is probably, without a shadow of a doubt, the best three-point shooter in the league. Stats show it as well. Big rebound that time came out to Halifax with a second chance here. Slow this momentum. Zotieno loses his feet. Kyle Johnson with the ball, throws it up to Johnson, or to Anderson. Now that time for the easy layup. That ball, I think, was reached up from underneath, I believe, not from on the rim. So yes, you can touch the ball on the rim, but I do believe it came from underneath the hand that time. And that's not legal.
And that's going to end up with 2 points for London.
Yeah, so he went through the netting to knock that out. So if he had come over around the top, it'd be a different story. So London on a roll here, 48-31. Good timeout called here by Coach Mike Leslie. His team sort of coming apart the last few possessions, and of course it doesn't help for him. Now we got the hottest shooter in the house, Ryan Anderson.
It's disappointing for Halifax because they've been doing a really great job of just not letting that gap get any bigger. And unfortunately, Ryan Anderson with shots that usually a player just doesn't make, but he is dialed in and able to drill those huge long-distance three-pointers and give London the gap that they have right now, 48-31. And it's amazing the impact that just some sharp shooting can really put on a game. And London really in the driver's seat now.
17-point gap. See what Halifax comes back with these last few minutes in the second quarter. Might be the tail of the tape for the game. If they let London get too far ahead, it's just going to be a tough road to hoe in the second half. Pretty good tire rolling there, from what I'm seeing. There's some nice highlights there, I see. We're just sort of watching the timeout exhibition.
You see a lot of the amateur tire rollers go behind the tire and then they end up chasing it. Some veteran Weil right there going beside the tire. Brilliant play.
Yes,
Brilliant play.
Here's some of the plays we talked about with Williamson, just his tenacity under the hoop, getting hammered. Those are the plays that have contributed to their 17-point lead. How many points does Ryan Anderson have, you said?
Well, Ryan Anderson there, 17 points in the first half already. 5 of 6 from three-point land.
5 of 6, my goodness. That last one was unconscious.
Well, London as a team, 8 of 12 from beyond the arc. 67%, amazing shooting from the Lightning.
Ever-present Clifford Clinkscale with the ball in his hand. He's really only their true point guard, really, for Halifax.
Well, they're missing Taquan Zimmerman.
That's right. I didn't realize that when all you say that. Mason, short rest on the bench. He's back on, and he hits his first shot back coming off the bench. Anderson again trying it. Oh, that was close. That is Williamson. No other than Williamson doing the dirty work underneath. We have seen that all season long.
We're going to see London Lightning go to the line here for 2 shots. Pardon me, they're not going to the line. Friesen was setting up like he was going to be taking them.
Well, it was on the board. It's 4th team foul, looks like, on Halifax. Not till 7 do you shoot. Still 4 fouls with only under 8 minutes to go. That's pretty high. Again, just showing his strength. Unable to convert that fadeaway, but White able to get a shot off at any time. Klinkskill just a master at dribbling. Watson power moving to the corner, and that's Ochieno. Oh no, that's Mason, sorry. Making the 3. Oh, who else would it be but Mason, Antoine Mason?
Yeah, it was off balance too, but he ended up drilling a great shot there for Mason.
Good little response here by Halifax. And a terrific block that time by none other than Mike Poole, his first action in the game. What a pass by Klinkskill, and Watson just hustled down the floor, and Coach Kyle Julius is furious at letting Halifax back in the game 48-39, but give credit to Mason and Klinkskill and Watson for putting that surge on.
That's a great little run there from the Halifax Hurricanes that brings them back into the game. It was starting to look, we talked about the rubber band, it was starting to appear a little weaker than you'd like to see. It looked like it was about to snap, but instead they stretch it right back and bring themselves closer now.
How about the first play of the game for Mike Poole? A block shot on Kyle Johnson to set up that fast break.
Just some excellent play all around from the Hurricanes there, but they need to keep that kind of thing going. One of the things that hurts with having guys missing is you end up having to come up with different lineups than you maybe are used to putting out there, and there's no guarantee at this point in the season. With limited time to practice, there hasn't been a lot of time off between games to really test out those lineups and see which guys work together well, because you're kind of losing a big part.
Well, 48-39. 9-point lead here for London Lightning with, see what the time on the clock is left here. Right now there's 0 time on the clock, but that can't be right.
Looks like a bit of a malfunction as they try to figure out what the time should be. Back to 7-11.
7-11, ain't that fortuitous, eh? All right, it's a good rally there, a good push, a good response by the Halifax Hurricanes. The London ball, putting the ball inbounds. Got White and Friesen, along with Anderson, Cadogan, and Williamson for London. Klinkskill still out there, of course, along with Poole as well yet. This is Dixon, and White is going to try to take advantage of him all the way inside. Loses the ball. Looks like he got hit on the elbow and lost control there, but again, White just an unstoppable force inside. So like I said, Mason, Watson, Poole, Klinkskill, and I'm going to say Dixon's the other one out there, yes. Missed time, that's a total fast break here for Mason. Miscommunication left London totally exposed on that inbounds play.
Definitely not the kind of play you want coming out of that timeout. And a little bit of a miscue. Halifax slowly but surely creeping back in.
It's Friesen with the ball up top. Posting up Williamson. Taking Mason to the hole. Looking for it. This is Cadogan up top now with just under 8 seconds to go. Friesen's going to have to take it hard to the hoop. He gets hammered, and he does get a call. Just too many hands flying in there for Halifax. They had him well under control.
Just about everyone on the Halifax bench jumping up at that one. Definitely going to get a replay right here. Friesen driving to the bucket.
Just a
I
little
got
too
him on
much
the
that
arm there.
time by, I think that was Poole, wasn't it? Yes. Well, you're not going to argue with the best ref in the league, are you?
Well, I mean, if there was anyone you could get doing this game, that's the one.
That's what I think, too. Friesen makes his first. London a little bit stalled the last couple 3 possessions. They were on fire till that timeout. Great timeout called by Halifax. Then they made a mini run to get back into this game. And a timeout for London. So. Again, Mason being closely guarded by Friesen again. They've been going at it hard, and he still gets his shot off. Oh, nearly makes it with 2 players on him as well.
Way off balance, too.
A running left-hand floater after contact for Royce White. What can the man not do? Oh, he has brought his game tonight. Dixon up top with Williamson on him. A little bit of size advantage. Can he get his shot off? He does, but Ryan Anderson again working hard for that rebound. He is always in there working for those rebounds. What is he averaging? I was looking it up. He's 15, 7, and 5. 15 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists is his stat for the playoffs. Halifax not going away. Clinkscale with the ball up top. Ball, 90% of the ball at the time the ball's in his hands, in good hands. It's like
it's going to be on Anderson there, trying to defend Tyrone Watson.
Watson just carving out his space down there with his strength, and Anderson on the wrong side of him.
That's a tough assignment for Ryan Anderson. But again, he's had to play a lot of time in the front court. Of course, London lost Julian Boyd earlier, just before playoffs, really, I'd say about 5 games before. And they haven't really had a guy to play down low other than Royce White, so Ryan Anderson's had to do a lot of that duty defending.
Wow, smart post play that time. Good patience by Ronaldo Dixon, working his way inside. Tyrone Watson overplaying Anderson, knowing that as soon as he picks that ball up, he's going to shoot it. He's not denying that pass, whatever he can do. To me, that would be a great backdoor cut if Anderson sucked him all the way out and just stopped. The pass just waited. He'd be by him in a hurry. That time, Clinkscale hopped high over Doug Herring Jr. and knocked that ball loose.
Great hops by Clinkscale right there. Great defensive play.
A lot of maturity shown here by Halifax. Anderson with some good defense on Watson that time. Doug Herring Jr. with a big mismatch on Dixon. Halifax trying to get it to him, but Mason just has to shoot a bit of a wild shot because he had nothing left but the shot clock. Forced him into that. Here's Herring Jr. going into the corner. Anderson spotting up. Is he feeling it? That looks a little off balance.
Caught him out of rhythm there. Just a little too far left on the pass.
Well, we just put it to the other corner. I thought that was good judging by Joel Friesen, not jacking up a quick 3 in that rebound and waiting for his teammate to set up in the corner for the easy look. A lot of physical contact, and Watson holding Herring from trying to get to Clinkscale. Again, Watson this time taking the jump shot, more and more like the shot put than anything else. Doug Herring Jr. slowing the play down. Coach Kyle Julius calling for something specific. Herring, he's up front. He's got Capers looking for the jump shot. I'm not sure that's what they wanted. That was in and out. It was a wide open shot. Capers guarding Mason now. That'd be a good matchup. Clinkscale with Friesen on him. That's a tough matchup. Oh, a tough screen by Watson. No foul call. Definitely initiated by the offensive player that time, Watson. And he pays him back with stealing the ball that time, does he? Holding his ground is Friesen. Doug Herring Jr. going hard to the hoop. And the alley-oop, but that's going to be called off because the foul was on the dribble yet. You can see Herring was waiting for the foul to throw the ball up.
That's unfortunate that was on the called on the floor there, because that was a huge play. Either way, it's going to go to the line because the Hurricanes over the limit with that one, but wow, that was almost an incredible play.
You can almost see Herring waiting for somebody to hit him so he could pass the ball over, just trying to suck in that defender. But he'll be going to the line for 2, see if he can still get the 2 points. Doug Herring Jr. for 2. He's the one that hit the 3-point shot the last possession, contributing offensively. Been sort of a little bit quiet this series, sort of doing everything else but needing the scoring because other people have been picking up the scoring, but he's well capable of scoring lots of points.
Well, I think Junior Cadogan's been having himself a really great finals, so hasn't been as many minutes available there for Doug Herring Jr., but certainly capable when he's in the game. was arguably a contender for 6th man of the year during the regular season, and a former NBL All-Star as well as a member of the St. John Millrats.
Well, I'd voted for him for 6th man of the year, but of course I haven't seen all the other teams play this year as much, so but he's definitely the 6th man off the bench for London Lightning.
We actually have the 6th man in this game, Antoine Mason.
He came off the bench all the time for the Halifax?
Not all the time.
But he wasn't always a starter, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
What a terrific player off the bench. Oh my goodness. Based on what we see in this series here. Of course, he's forced to play a lot more minutes with some of the injuries, of course. Three minutes still to go, 57-43. Halifax over the foul limit with 7. London only at 3. Mason with Friesen on him again. He wants to take him to the hole. A big help that time by Royce White just to throw off his shot. They are battling and contesting every shot that Mason is doing. They're not letting him get going. Again, a foul that time by Mike Poole. Friesen beat him off the dribble.
Stuck his hand in when Friesen was trying to go in, so that's going to be an easy call for the ref.
So every foul from here on in, London goes to the line. In case you're not aware of the NBL rules, the 7th team foul is your shooting 2. Friesen makes his first. How many free throws is that for London so far?
They're 10 of 12 at the line right now. That'll make it 11 of 13.
Making him pay at the foul line as well. Poole going to the bench. So we still got Mason out there. This time Anthony Cox is back on the floor, along with Aaron Bowen again. Second rotation on. Royce White steals the ball from Mason nonetheless. Dives on the floor. Everybody's on the floor. Is Bowen up top to Clinkscale, unable to get a shot off. Thought almost a running start that time for Halifax player number 15, Aaron Bowen, but he gets the running layup.
Ryan Anderson just poked that out, but that was a pretty easy call for the ref on the goaltend.
Anderson working hard to get to his spot. That's Aaron Bowen doing a good job denying Ryan Anderson. Ball all the way across the court to Capers. He doesn't shoot that many threes, but he hits it this time.
And you know, it's something he's improved on all year. Before it was just making the open one. Now he's starting to develop consistency with that shot. He's really added that to his arsenal from when he stepped into the game or into the season about halfway to right now. He's really developed that three-point shot into a viable threat.
Turnover Halifax, quick double team by Royce White on Cox caused that turnover. London again building up another lead, 17 points. And that coach is excited, as is the bench, as are the fans. That was Joel Friesen driving in, holding the ball with one hand, waiting for that contact, and then finishing it no less. Watch this, he knew the contact was coming, he kept the ball way outside so nobody can touch it, and he puts it in against his former team.
Excellent play there from Joel Friesen, who's a really tough character for the London Lightning. Does a lot of the dirty things to get your team going, whether it's getting some rebounds, drawing a charge, taking contact. You know, does a lot of the dirty
an
work.
Offensive threat from the three-point line.
Exactly. He's a very versatile player. You almost think of that 3-and-D type. He fits the bill.
Terrific bounce pass by Clinkscale. Penetrated in there for Cox to finish off. Just under a minute 30 to go in this quarter. Again, Halifax finds himself down by about 18 right now. See if they got another run in them before the half is over. A couple passes between the two of them. That Anderson, no foul called. White follows his own board. Oh, Cox is over. Committed that time on the defensive boards. Look at that battle between Friesen and Mason down in the corner. Mason trying to get some space for himself. Bowen down inside. Terrific pass. White stayed straight up, contested that shot, able to stop the penetration. and keep the ball in play. He's freezing again. Nobody following him. Oh my goodness. He was committed that time to the rim. Going to the foul line again, drawing another foul. 67-47. Royce White getting a substitution. Looks like he's out of gas, and Marvin Phillips coming in. Here we look at it again at that attempt by Friesen going hard to the hoop. Ryan Anderson coming off to some warm applause with Junior Canugan in. I think coach is just trying to make sure they're not getting any silly fouls at the end of the second quarter, so they don't go into the half with more fouls than they need. Friesen at the line again. So 13 for 15 is London right now. Makes this his third in a row. That opens it up to a 21-point lead. These last 2 minutes have been really deadly for the Halifax. You can see that they're tired. They're holding their shirts, hands on their hips. They're going to need that break. Friesen makes the second free throw. Clinkscale with the early three-point. I think they're trying to get a 2-for-1 attempt. That's his third three-pointer. That's what we were talking about. He can be an offensive weapon. He needs to be an offensive weapon. And he can be an offensive weapon with that three-point shot that he has. Cadogan with the early shot. Sort of letting a couple possessions here for Halifax, sort of cutting in his lead. This is Mason with a terrific crossover. That's definitely a hammer on the arm that time. Good penetration by Antoine Mason. 69-50. A little bit of a let-up here by London Lightning. Good push by Halifax. Mason currently, let's see what he's got for points right now. He is at 14 points, 2 for 5 from the three-point line, 5 for 10. This is his fourth and fifth attempt at the foul line. This is his first, though. Makes the second, cut it to an 18-point lead. This should be the last possession if London plays it correctly. See if they can convert. They are up by 18. Big push here the last few minutes. See what London has up their sleeve. 10 seconds left on the clock. Cadogan one-on-one up top with Clinkscale. I think he's just going to take him one-on-one physically. And he does. He just bounces out. Unable to convert. The buzzer finally goes. Lots of wrestling going on down under there between Capers and Bowen. But in the end, the ball did not go in for Cadogan. 69-51 it is for London Lightning over the Halifax Hurricanes after the first half here in Game 6 at the Budweiser Garden with John Van Houwelingen and Chris Croucher calling the game for you. Big shooting that time in the first half. 10 for 16 is what I think really jumping out at me. Let's turn it over to Aaron and Chris for some halftime analysis.
18-point lead for the Lightning, 69-51 as we reach halftime. And Chris Croucher, believe it or not, I really admire the fact how Halifax is challenging not only the Lightning but themselves to take it inside, but they're getting overpowered by the London Lightning, who's shooting 56% from the field.
Yeah, it's a London Lightning team that's locked in. They know exactly what they can do here tonight. And Halifax, they're doing a great job. They're fighting really hard for a team that's dealt with the injuries that they have, but London, when they're playing like this, is just too much.
And when you try to fill in the void, especially the way Billy White has left for the Hurricanes, you really got to turn it into a couple of players. Antoine Mason impressed me so far, but I believe you turn it to the guards. Clifford Clinkscale, because he's very resilient so far, driving right inside. I don't know how he gets most of those shots to go, but boy, howdy, he's one of the reasons why Halifax still got a chance to win this thing.
And you know, for Clinkscale, it's one of those things where he needs to make his shots because that makes him dangerous. He can pass the ball better than anyone in the NBL, but if you know he's thinking pass, which he usually is, and that's not a problem, but if he's not making his shots and you know he's thinking pass, it makes him easier to defend. Making those shots makes him tougher to defend. You have to worry about, is he going to pass? Is he going to shoot? I can't let him have the shot because he's been making shots. So that makes him a tougher assignment for anyone to try and defend. So for Clinkscale to be making those shots earlier was a real big deal for him and gave them a great opportunity to get themselves in this game. Unfortunately, again, just not enough guys going right now.
And the way this game is going for the London Lightning, you could name it a shooting clinic. One guy in particular scoring more than 20 points has been a Ryan Anderson shooting clinic so far.
Well, Ryan Anderson's been shooting the ball incredibly well. And he's a guy who, when he gets going, he's almost impossible to stop. One of the best three-point shooters in the league, and really just a great player for the London Lightning. He's also been doing a great job defending. He's been forced down low, and he's been defending Tyrone Watson for much of the game. And that's a very difficult assignment for him, but he's been holding his own. Watson hasn't had an incredibly effective half, and I think that's because Ryan Anderson's been doing such a good job.
And one of the keys I had for the Halifax Hurricanes is the fact that you have to pressure and contest those sharp shooters, or else you're going to be in trouble. That includes Ryan Anderson, who's been very shifty to begin with. We know his resume and how he plays the game, but it's been quite impossible to stop those sharp shooters, especially when they're on fire beyond the arc.
Well, they're almost 60% from beyond the arc in this game, and anytime a team is shooting like that beyond the arc, they're going to put up a score like this right here. And the London Lightning just absolutely on fire beyond the arc. Halifax, if they make a couple threes of their own, and if they can stop this like onslaught by the London Lightning right now, they can get themselves back in this game. This is a tough team, and London is not going to shoot 60% for the entire game. That would be almost impossible to ask of them. So if Halifax can withstand this, keep themselves close enough, and if London starts to maybe have a couple hiccups beyond the arc, they can get themselves back in.
And how can they have few hiccups when Royce White is already flirting with the double-double, which it's going to happen no matter what, because he scored more than 10 points. He's a few rebounds away from it. And once again, he's adding damage to Halifax's front court, especially on the weak side of defense.
And he's also tiring them out. They are undermanned in the front court. And the way White's playing, if you're a defender, that gets tiring. He's physical. He's bumping into you every time he gets the ball. And by, a couple minutes in, all of a sudden you're going, you kind of have to exhale because he's just constantly bumping into you. So not only is he effective against the Hurricanes, but he's also tiring them out a bit down low. And that's not a good omen for the rest of the game for Halifax, but a great one for London.
And considering they only have 9 players to start with in the finals, the London Lightning, they know how to condition each player well, and they're doing a wonderful job doing it. Before we go to the keys of the game, I want to give a quick shout out to Vince Williams of the Halifax Hurricanes, giving Knoxville.tv a shout out the previous game. We enjoyed your company in game 2, and we hope you're enjoying the game. Okay, now that's out of the way. Halifax, they want to extend this to a game 7, but they have an 18-point deficit to overcome. How do they do that?
Well, again, I think it comes down to surviving London's shooting right now. And if once London starts to slow down, which is no guarantee, but if London starts to slow down, they got to start making some threes of their own. Guys like Joey Haywood have to make some of their threes. Antoine Mason, he's been scoring great, but a lot of it's been from inside. They're going to need him to stretch the floor a bit. And for those two guys to get going beyond the arc, I think is important for Halifax.
I see Mason doing wonders in the front court and Joey Haywood firing those shots because they need all the shots they can to cut this lead into single digits. London Lightning, they're 24 minutes away from their 3rd championship in 6 years. How do they cap this off and make sure this lead does not go anywhere?
Keep doing what you're doing. They're having success at almost every part of the game right now. Just keep doing that. I mean, 69 points and a half. Are you kidding me? When you're on pace for just a shade under... 138 total, you're probably having yourself a good game. So for London, just keep doing what you're doing and keep crashing down low, keep getting those bigs tired for Halifax, and then the three-point shooting, I mean, there's not much coaching on that one. Just keep making those shots.
And speaking of coaches, London Lightning, we're glad to see that Ali Haydar, one of their assistant coaches, returned from Dubai just to watch this London Lightning team finish what they started as opposed to they did last year. So in a way, this is a momentum boost for this London Lightning squad.
Yeah, he took a very lengthy and expensive flight from Dubai to be here for this moment, and it really shows his commitment to this team and how much this team really loves him. The players all flocked to him as soon as he popped into the building just to say hi, and he really is a big part of this team and this franchise. He's been there for almost every year of the London Lightning
since day
one. So I mean, that tells you what kind of a guy he is for this team and what he means to the franchise as a whole.
And we're going to see how the rest of this tale unfolds. If the Lightning win, we'll have extensive coverage of the championship trophy presentation, talk to a few players, and of course Kyle Julius, but that's if they win it. Let's see how the last 2 quarters go. It's 69-51, as you could see. We're going to step away, and second half Action will come right around the corner before you know it. You're watching the NBL Canada Finals on Knockstrom.tv.
We're going to play a game of musical chairs.
Welcome back, sports fans, as I like to call everybody that's watching us tonight. You must be a sports fan if you want to watch this game. 69-51, Game 6 of the NBL Finals between Halifax and London. 69-51 sounds like a big lead, but Halifax kept it close to the last 3 or 4 minutes there, and then they sort of took their foot off the pedal. Maybe getting a little tired, I'm thinking, Chris.
Yeah, they had a really good run there that gave them closer to about an 8-point gap there, but London really pulled away at the end of that quarter. Made some really big shots, and that's really been the story of the whole game, has been London really connecting on just about everything. 10 of 16 from beyond the arc, which is a huge number, and even free throws, an area where we've seen them struggle some games. They're at 88% in the game. So just about every shot that London's taking, no matter where on the floor it is, it seems to be going in.
Well, let's see what Halifax has got in the reserve here. There are third quarter of Game 6. They did play a fair amount of subs, some players that we hadn't seen before quite a bit. DeBerry, we're talking about, Poole, Otieno. They played a number of minutes there in the first half. That might keep their preferred starting 5 fresh.
Well, that's every healthy player on the Halifax Hurricanes has touched the floor, whereas London, Bolden and Singleton both still on the bench for London.
Okay, Joey Haywood back on the floor. We hadn't seen him most of that second quarter. He was very effective the time he did play. So pretty well the same starting lineups we had at the beginning of the game. So first possession, London. And 2 players right away on Ryan Anderson, but he quickly reverses the ball. That's Garrett Williamson still fighting for it. Who's that inside? Looking for it as well. And London just battling inside for that offensive board. I'm not sure who that would be off of, even if the refs don't know.
Well, just
kind of London ball.
Just kind of popped out of a crowd of humans around the ball right there. So just a little bit of a mess under the basket. Looks like they're going to give the ball to, I believe, the London Lightning here.
Yeah, and a new shot clock as well. Down in the post to Royce White, who's been pretty nigh unstoppable tonight. Again, he's working his magic, left hand. He sticks with it right away. What a quick second attempt for White. They're doing their best to get Mason open as much as he can. London's well aware where he is on the floor. Again, that quick step back from Haywood. Unable to convert that time. Cadogan pushing it out on the fast break. Great steal by Watson. What anticipation.
Just pulled it right out of his hands. Beautiful steal.
Perfectly timed. Clinkscale's made 3 threes this game. Mason going to step back for that shot. I think Anderson should know better than that. That's definitely a shot that Mason loves to take. Looks like most of the crowd back into their seats here. Lively atmosphere. Anderson, nice dump off to Williamson. Good no-look pass. Waiting for that double team to come. It's Mason one-on-one. That's so tough to handle. Cadogan stays with him, but he gets so easily and up over top of a smaller player. Within 5 seconds, that ball's back in the net for Mason. We've seen that time and time again this series. Halifax needs to get some stops, though. They can't just be trading baskets. This is Dixon with a tough assignment with White. Again, trying to get his second attempt, but he stayed in between White and the ball. I think he knocked it out, though, so it's going to be London ball again, I believe.
Looked like him and Haywood both reached for it, and neither was able to grab it.
Yeah, shot clock reset again for London. Williamson with a head fake. He's got the side advantage over top of Mason. Late call from the far side referee. I don't know if Williamson lost the ball or if Mason actually hit it out of his hands, but he's not complaining too much, so it's got to be a foul. How many fouls is that on Mason? Didn't quite hear the announcer there.
That's going to be the second foul on Mason. It was 19 points already in the game.
All right, so foul trouble, he's okay.
No one really in any major foul trouble for either team except for Ronaldo Dixon sitting at 4 and still getting minutes, still getting played.
He's on the floor, and I think that's the reason why White's going so hard at him as well. Trying to draw that 5th foul. He sets the high screen for Clinkscale. Again, this is Haywood coming around the corner. A lot of weaving at the top here. See if Mason get a shot off. Anderson doing a good job sticking with him. No, they'll prefer if Dixon wants to shoot the three. You can't corral the defensive boards. Talking about London here. Dixon's going to take another three. There's a foul underneath. I think Williamson was clearing the deck with Tyrone Watson muscling for a position in there. That's going to be a foul on Williamson.
It's going to be 3 there on Garrett Williamson, so now he might be starting to think about his foul situation there.
Corner for Haywood again with that quick trigger, and he makes that three. My goodness.
Really can't leave Haywood open. He's able to get those shots, and anytime he's open in the corner there, that's a great effort from Junior Cadogan. Able to collide with Haywood there and still finish.
He recognized right away that nobody was picking him up. Took it right to the rim. Quick answer by the Lightning. This is Haywood again with that quick 1-2, Mr. Energy, or Mr. Energizer, I think the coach called him, right? He is so quick, and he just gets his shot off so quickly. It's amazing over a much taller player how he does that. That's Dixon. They are going to be calling a blocking foul on the floor, I believe.
It's going to be the far ref there, I believe, calling Cadogan for the blocking foul. Going to get a replay right here of it.
A little bit of embellishment by Cadogan, but I didn't really think that was a defensive foul, but Dixon did the good job keeping his position, going to the foul line.
Charges are a difficult call for the ref. It's almost 50-50 whether you get it right or wrong.
Closes the gap to 15 or 16 points, 76-60. No, 15 points, 61. Great crossover dribble, and that should be an offensive or an intentional foul on Dixon. Did you see that crossover that Royce White did? It's unbelievable.
That's
all of a sudden he's going
man.
to the, oh my goodness.
That's a 6'8" man able to make that kind of a play and get to the rim. Here's a look at it. And yeah, Dixon, no choice but to
Yes,
just
corrals
hold
him around
on.
the back of the shirt behind the neck. That's a flagrant foul all day long. Makes his first.
Just to clarify, that indeed is a flagrant foul there on Ronaldo Dixon. Or unsporting foul.
Yes. London gets the ball back after making both of those foul shots, and Dixon heading to the bench with his 5th foul. And the big guy, Coriante DeBerry, back in the game. Again, he's got the ball in his hands, and he's just taking the big man. What great patience there, and Caper stuck with it. Cadogan's have to get a shot off. No, he still had 8 or 9 seconds to go yet. Sort of rusted that time, and White saw the ball in front of him, and he created the foul on Mason. Mason's still playing with a ton of energy.
Really haven't been a lot of foul calls in this game. They've been
No,
really
there
been
really
letting them
hasn't,
play,
no.
but again, Dixon, Williamson, the only guys are starting to creep up on. And I feel like there have been a lot more whistles in the back half of the second quarter and early goings here than there really were in the first quarter and a half of the game.
Open inside, DeBerry with the shot, unable to convert. I think London will be fine with that. What great catch in traffic! My goodness, Marcus Capers, and then the composure to finish it off at the rim after that. It's like a Jerry Rice catch.
Ooh, hit a wet spot.
Yes, and he's out of bounds as well. 80-61. This game is teetering on the edge of getting broken open, but so far Halifax trading baskets, which is going to do for a while, of course, but keeping it at, right now it's 19. It was as low as 15, but
It's never exceeded 20, though. That's the interesting
you
part.
just get that feeling that London's going to explode here. That's just a feeling I have here up at the booth. Johnson able to convert that time, a wide open shot. That's what they were looking for. Mason with a quick three. He can hit those, unable to convert that time. This will be Royce White. Bringing the ball up again with the step over and the slam. The step over, cross dribble on the little guy in the court, Clinkscale.
Just a beautiful play there from Royce White and the very aggressive finish. Great play there from the London MVP.
Clinkscale again with a 3-point attempt. Man, that guy, that's his 4th one, I believe, tonight.
Yeah, he's 4 of 5 from the 3-point line. And again, he's not a guy who's really known for his scoring, but he's certainly showing himself capable in this game.
I'd be telling him to shoot a heck of a lot more. DeBerry with White. It should be a held ball, I believe, or a travel. Yes, one or the other.
You know, I think that got knocked out there by DeBerry. I don't know if that would have been a travel there.
DeBerry doing a good job, just keeping his hand on the ball. Oh, quick shot by Haywood that time, trying to get an easy, quick 3 if he's possibly can. A little scrambly here for Halifax. A foul from behind, not giving an easy basket. That would have been an easy flush for Capers. Good timeout call by Halifax, I think. I just had that feeling too. It was going to break open, and you can see real scrambly play. And that quick shot by Haywood, I know he was wide open, but nobody was prepared for it.
Well, not every open shot's a good one. Sometimes you got to wait for guys to prepare under the cylinder. Sometimes you got to have maybe set up the play. If you're already running, it's kind of a reckless shot there. We've seen him make it before, so I don't think it's a shot the coach is necessarily, completely scrapping, but it really wasn't a good time for it.
Well, Clinkscale, good timing there. My goodness, 4 for 5 shooting. Ooh, what a thump.
And second leading scorer on the team, almost caught up with Antoine Mason for scoring in the game. Really not something you expect, but Cliff Clinkscale is a guy who really has done whatever that the team has needed of him, and in this case, they need someone to step up the scoring. He's been the guy to provide that so far.
And Capers, great catch in traffic again. I did say Jerry Rice, but it could be a number of other receivers out there, of course. I was thinking Gronk, but he doesn't look like Gronk, so, Gronkowski, right?
I don't think anyone quite looks like Gronk. That's a gigantic person.
Isn't he just great in the commercials, Gronk?
Yeah.
I think he's so funny. Terrific. Player for New England Patriots, of course. Back to basketball. Skadugan driving. Again, a good body control. Seeing a lot of tough shots being made tonight. 82-64, 18-point game, and it'll be to Halifax to put another push on, see if they can't get it to at least down to 10, I would say, by the end of this quarter to have a run in the 4th quarter. When they are quickly running out of options. A couple substitutions here for London, it looks like.
Kind of a weird, quirky stat. The fouls are 17 to 11. Halifax with 17, London with 11. Halifax has had more attempts at the free throw line. Oh, pardon me, I misread that. Never mind. Never mind. Scratch that stat.
That's not even possible.
Pardon me. Never mind.
Mathematically impossible, okay?
Well, it's possible you could have more shooting fouls. You could have more free throw shots than London. Because not every foul is a shooting foul, right?
All right.
I just got it wrong, though.
Yep.
But the potential was there. That's what I'm clarifying.
Either way, Capers makes his first shot, extends it to 19 points again. Going to be 20, the first time we hit 20. And he does. A 20-point lead officially here for the Lightning in the midway through the 3rd quarter. Halifax needs to respond. One man who has responded is Clinkscale. This is Watson. He won't take that shot. Into the big guy, to DeBerry.
Clinkscale is wide open, and no one's even looking his way.
That's Haywood with a quick little jumper.
I think DeBerry's going to get a foul for being a little too tough on that screen.
He's arguing with the ref. Maybe we can see a replay on that. I know that.
We're going to see it right here. That's
Doug
the
Herring
3rd
Jr.
foul.
took the worst of it there. Yeah.
He gave a little extra on there.
Yeah, his elbows came up a little bit. He was anticipating contact. You can't protect yourself like that when you're setting a screen. So Friesen and Herring back in the game for London. Anderson, tough underhand pass to Capers that time. Down to 10 seconds on the shot clock. White still on the floor yet, along with Anderson. Capers. A set play for Capers, and he just took the ball under the hoop, lost his man, and up and over he went. He scored the last 4 points for him, the last 6 points for him, actually, I believe. Watson into the corner. Mason looking for a shot. Pushes it. I'm not sure what's going to be called. That is going to be called a blocking foul. Friesen, I think, taking the worst of that exchange, trying to draw the charge. Doing some talking back and forth. There's been some, I would say,
Animosity?
I was going to say animosity, but sort of heated exchanges between the two of them. Friesen that's been his primary defensive target, has been Mason. Mason's really working hard to get open, must be getting a bit frustrated. That time the beneficiary of that call. Makes his first foul shot. Royce White bringing the ball up like a point guard. Quite the multi-dimensional player. Waiting for his teammates to be set up behind the back, and that time
nice
a little
hands.
too fancy. Put the curse on him. Mason going hard to the hoop. That time he's fouled hard by Friesen.
Oh, that's going to be a flagrant there.
And I'm thinking...
That could be on DeBerry or Friesen there.
Well, I think Friesen hammered Mason there on the drive. Mason took offense to that, and I think in the end, Rich Stellix thought that was a little bit over the top, flagrant foul. And that's because they had previous exchange at the foul line under the last possession there, where Friesen sort of took the brunt of that.
Well,
If you look at that replay, if we get to see it, you can see that Friesen went hard after. Look at the man drive, and look at this here. You can see just the extra swing of the arm here, and then the arm wrapped around the neck. And Mason takes offense to that, and referee Stellick making the right call, keeping the tempers in check, a flagrant foul.
I thought Mason did a pretty good job staying calm there.
Yes, he did.
He really had a lot of contact on that one, and almost landed on
any
top
kind
of
of
him.
contact around the neck, around the head, that's almost automatically a flagrant foul.
Easy call.
Intentional or not intentional, that's almost always a flagrant foul. We saw a call on this end here, so consistency on both ends. So Mason doing his best to contribute, trying to cut into this deficit. It will be Halifax ball with another possession. Watson on the floor with DeBerry. Clinkscale always on the floor. Mason as well. It's Joey Haywood. Kyle Johnson back on the floor with Marcus Capers, Royce White, Doug Herring Jr., and Ryan Anderson for the London Lightning. Mason doing his best to draw contact with Herring that time. And that's what he does so well, push off with his lead arm. Legally, that is. That looked like a foul there, but Clinkscale unable to convert. The big guy underneath, crowded by three guys, and that's going to be a flagrant foul possibly as well. Again, around the head.
No flagrant this time.
No flagrant call. That easily could have been in that wild swing by DeBerry.
There's a little bit of recklessness kind of creeping into this game with the way the two teams are committing fouls that I don't think either team really wants to see continue right now. You don't want things to get too heated. For London, I mean, you're up 19 points. You don't want to give any extra opportunities to Halifax to creep back in.
That was an alley-oop from Anderson to Capers. It looked like he got sort of pushed off by DeBerry that time. Capers wondering about it, but looks like just a good defensive play. Capers unable to get to that alley-oop. But again, I think Anderson should just play straight up basketball that time and just put it up to the net. He had the wide open lane. Nothing fancy needed. London just needs to stay the course. There's lots of time in this game yet for somebody to heat up for Halifax. That's the last thing that London needs. It's Watson with the ball underneath. Haywood way up top. He'll take it if he can get it. And that quick shot, awkward looking shot. That time he didn't get his legs underneath him. Doug Herring Jr. with Royce White. Wide open three, can he bury it? He cannot. That's Haywood on his horse, going as fast as he can, getting that offensive board. Now Halifax slows it down to set something up. They need to make every possession count. They cannot be trading baskets with London. And Mason inside with the offensive putback. He's not giving up.
We saw this during the second. Just a couple of shots that you make, you get some consistency going, and you can creep yourself back into this game.
That should be out on DeBerry. That's going to be a London ball.
He's lucky it wasn't a foul. That would have been his 5th. He's sitting at 4 right now. And with Ronaldo Dixon at 5, they can't really afford either of those guys to pick up too many fouls. Those guys really performing most of the duties in the front court for the Halifax Hurricanes.
14 seconds left on the shot clock. That's coming around to Johnson. Throws it back out. He's trapped with 2 guys. Gets it out to Garrett Williamson. It's Royce White. Puts the ball between his leg and just up and over. That's a terrific crossover. Strong power move on that first step.
That's 5 on DeBerry right there.
Smart play by White, taking it to the hole. Let the big guy challenge him. But again, look at this. Between his legs, then his first step. See how big that first step is? And he's blown by the defender. Strong enough to hold him off. Even the much bigger guy, DeBerry, holding him off.
It's that little stutter, too, that hesitation that throws the defender on his heels, and he's able to take advantage, catch him off balance.
And right after that stutter, you can see that huge first step. You know, it takes
he's halfway
takes
to the basket with that
takes
one
you by
step.
surprise as a defender. So DeBerry does have to sit. And you're right, Dixon is back. Cox is back on the floor. We will call him the 3rd big, I guess. That's about all the bigs that Halifax has. Link scale up top, trying to see what develops. Throwing it out, that's Poole shooting for a long 3, and he does bury it.
You know, they need to start making some of those 3-pointers there. That time Bowen with a big one. Able to get Halifax a little bit of tread here, but they still have a lot of work to do.
Oh, good catch. That was Bowen, you're right, not Poole. It's Kyle Johnson with an answer, number 3 for Kyle Johnson.
Kyle Johnson's had himself a great finals, and there's another one. They haven't needed him as much tonight, but he's still deadly with that 3-point shot.
Linkscale throws it in the corner, wide open. Joey Haywood, he got his legs underneath him that time. A clean 3. 2 quick 3s here for Halifax. They've cut it down to 16.
Well, he's one of the best when he's in the corner. Just we don't have like a hot spot map like they'll have in the NBA, but I imagine he'd have a bright red color there for his shooting.
Johnson, can he continue his hot shooting? Unable to convert. An attempt at the 3. Haywood again on his horse, taking it to the hoop. A little bit of a wild shot, but he does draw the foul from Marcus Capers. Pushing the pace, aware that the shot clock is going down. The time is of essence for Halifax. Down by 16. Anderson quickly coming back into the game for London. A little more size in for defense. So Haywood to the foul line. He hasn't been off this quarter, I don't believe. Sat quite a bit in the second quarter. I'm sure it's like we thought, he was being saved for the second half. Well, Aaron Bowen on the floor along with Clinkscale and Mason. Watson getting a break. Cox on the floor with Haywood. So really, they've gone small, Halifax. One big, Anthony Cox, if you want to consider him a big. All the rest are smalls for Halifax. London almost doing the same. With only Royce White, the only big really out there. Doug Herring Jr. taking the hoop, throws it in the corner for White. He declines the 3-point shot. He'd rather take it off the dribble. And he just holds on to it with one hand. That strength. Still gets his shot off on Cox.
And again, we saw him with the hesitation, big first step, gets him halfway to the rim in one go. And another great effort there from Royce White.
To the foul line he is. How many times has he been to the foul line now?
Well, he's been there. He's taken 8 free throws in the game, 7 of 8 from the line, make that 8 of 9. More impressively, he's already got that double-double, 24 points, 12 rebounds in this game, including 8 of 14 shooting from the field.
Well, Halifax put in a bit of a flurry on here, but they are still down by 16 points. Here's Bowen again, and declines to take that 3 this time. Looks like there'll be a double foul here, I think, on Mason and Herring, possibly, is it?
I'm not sure who's defending him there. Definitely Mason for Halifax. Neither Williamson or Herring. I'm going to say Herring for London there.
Yeah, Doug Herring Jr., yep. So those two offsetting fouls. Rich Stellick, the referee, the head referee on the court, not putting up with any nonsense away from the ball. Bowen with another three-point attempt. Nice looking shot from the corner.
And that's a big shot. Now they're only within 13. Again, Hurricanes slowly creeping back in. We saw this in game 2 where London led for the majority of that game, and then Halifax all of a sudden put up a run late, and they were able to come back.
A quick, fast break for none other than Joey Haywood. Quick as a flash to the basket on that turnover by London's Ryan Anderson pass. You're right. Down to 11. Williamson take it to the hoop. Tough shot for him. Looks like it got knocked out of bounds by Halifax. A little bit of play being let on there. 11 seconds left. A minute left in the third quarter. They've got it down to 10 or 11, what we said they had to do by the end of the third quarter. Credit to Halifax. Anderson working hard for that shot. You see him work hard off of that screen. He just flashed in the corner. He earned every one of those 2 points. Haywood again, taking the ball hard to the hoop. You can see he's trying to draw a foul. Offensive board that time, a bit of a wild shot by Bowen. This is White being held down the far end. And the man that is a big but plays like a guard gets fouled again. That's 17 fouls plus for Halifax. He's going to the line again.
Well, both teams over the limit, so anytime you hear a whistle, it's probably going to be sending guys to the line right there. Bowen just gets a little too handsy on Royce White, and going to send White to the free throw line. Now, I don't want to jinx it, but he's been, during the season, I think a lot of people thought the free throw shooting wasn't the best from Royce White, but he's really turned into a much better free throw shooter, especially in the later part of the season. He's going to make both there. And in fact, he is 11 of 12 in the game.
Can't argue with that. Haywood with the ball up top again. A little bit more overplay by London, well aware of his shooting capabilities. It's Mason. What a great hedge by White that time. That's going to be an early foul on White. That was sort of unnecessary, I thought. I know he was trying to draw a foul from Mason, but he was in a poor defensive position to do that. So White gets the foul. Now there's some words going back and forth, and Anderson doing a good job pushing White away. That's the last thing London needs with a full quarter to go in Game 6.
Yeah, I think White just got tangled up with Mason on that play. And that was Bowen that White went after, though, to kind of cause that little mess. And they're going to give an extra foul there to White for that.
Technical foul, I think, on Royce White. So that now quickly his fourth foul with a quarter to go.
Just like that, he's going to have to go sit. Goes to the bench with 28 points, 13 rebounds. Can't say he hasn't done his part on the floor, but
well, it may not be enough for his team. They're only up by 15, and
not a great time
the pendulum is swinging to the Halifax way. Can they cash in? Is Halifax the question? But there's lots of players in London that can step up. We've seen it all year long. 8 players in double figures, lots of playing time. But Royce White is the key. You said it from the beginning of the game. Everything flows out of him.
You know, it's a little scary, the parallels that you can draw between this and Game 3. White ended up coming back, but he, of course, threw the ball into the stands. And it was around this time of the game, late in the third quarter, that it happened. He ended up coming back great, but London really missed him during that stretch that he wasn't on the floor. So Halifax, if they get an opportunity, can capitalize here.
Okay, down to 13 points, 23 seconds left in the quarter, and Joey Haywood shooting the technical. And I do believe
almost 85% from the free throw line this season.
He makes it. And it's still going to be Halifax ball as well after the technical. So they have an opportunity to get it down to under 10 here. 23 seconds left. They can play for the last shot if they want. And they're down by 12. They were up. They were down as much as 20 earlier in this quarter. A one-on-one play here with 10 seconds to go with Joey Haywood. Will he give up the ball or will he take the shot? Good hedge that time by Williamson. Long three-pointer that time. And Phillips not letting anyone but London pick up that ball. He gets a shot off in time. Oh, that looked really good by Doug Herring Jr. That would have been a blow to Halifax if that went in. So give Halifax credit coming back from 20, keeping their composure. 97-85, down by 12. London's shown a little bit cracks in their armor there. That's what I was looking for. Thinking, what did I want to say that was tactful?
Halifax there, 34 points in that quarter. That's a huge output for that team. And really, if you look at that buzzer came at the worst possible time for Halifax. They had so much momentum going in their favor to close that gap. Now London gets a chance to go into this break between quarters and really fix what might have been ailing them. Interesting though, London still shooting the lights out, 50% from the field, 57% from three-point land. They're still shooting it just as well, but Halifax had that good of a quarter that really brought them back into that game. The majority of which was finally from the outside. That's something they had kind of struggled to get going throughout the game, but they finally started to connect on those threes in the third quarter there. 41% from the field, 43% from three-point land, which I mean, if London wasn't shooting the way they were, that would be enough to win you a game there.
Exactly,
and
yes.
so a bit unfortunate that Halifax had that slow start. On the boards, London leading 34-29. Halifax more offensive rebounds though. That leads to more extra opportunities, and that's how you get back into the game, is getting those extra shots. The assists 22-14 for the London Lightning, and otherwise the numbers look pretty much even across the board. No real difference in any of the major stats. Steals 5-5, turnovers 9 for London, 7 for Halifax.
Yeah, Halifax done a good job protecting the ball today.
Both teams have. They really haven't been
setting the pace of the game.
They
Absolutely.
haven't really been reckless. They've been moving the ball well and without taking silly risks. And really, it's both teams clicking at a really high clip, but neither one really letting up. So both teams have been able to play efficiently, but just one team's doing a little better than the other.
Okay, let's see if London has regained their composure. They got a couple subs in there, I see. Looks like Joel Friesen is in, along with Cadogan, Phillips, Anderson, and Williamson. Royce White sitting on the bench with 4 fouls. Just a technical foul picked up just in the last few seconds of that third quarter. This is the home stretch. If you're thinking London way, they got 1 quarter to win a championship, the third in 6 years. Halifax on a roll here, cutting it down to 12. Can they make a push early and keep this a tight ball game? Put London on the ropes for this fourth quarter. So Bowen on the floor with Clinkscale, along with Anthony Cox. Masons, I think, has hardly come off the floor at all. He's getting held that time by Friesen. They've had a big battle all game long. Joey Haywood still on there, and he gets hammered that time. I don't know if that shot's going to continue. It does. The referee says it's a continuation. Oh my goodness, Mason had taken the punishment and putting it in the hole. A little late rotation that time on the defense, and Mason made him pay. He's been to the foul line a number of times tonight. They down to a 9-point ball game, Chris. We got a game going on.
And keep in mind, in Game 2, Halifax was down 11 heading into the fourth quarter, and they came back to win that 1-1.
They
so this
did,
game not over.
You're right. Phillips with a fadeaway shot. Oh, that was clutch. I don't think it was high percentage, but it was clutch. I'll give him that. Mason again trying to penetrate. This time Williamson on him, guarding him. Cox outside to Haywood again. Trying to post up Cox against Phillips, but Phillips more than can hold his own on defense. It's Mason again. Oh, no, that was
too
Bowen
fancy
with the behind the back. And look at who's diving for the ball, and the shot clock expires on Halifax. I think Halifax thinks Anderson, if he can make a pass, then that should be a change in possession. And coach or referee Rich Stellick overrules the call on the floor, and he is right. that shot clock goes back full reset for Halifax. As Anderson, there was a change in possession.
100% won that behind the back pass by Bowen. Pretty much hit Anderson right in the hands. I mean, should have been a reset.
Haywood with the ball. He's got Williamson on him. What a spin move. Trying to get his shot off, and he draws a foul. A terrific play by Joey Haywood against a really good defender, Garrett Williamson. Halifax doing everything right, though they're still down by 11, but they're doing everything right to stay in this game, making London pay and making London a little bit nervous, I think.
Again, they're just constantly hanging around. They're not pulling away by any means. And that sort of deflates a team as well. If you're the Lightning, that, how do we get rid of them? And that kind of gets into your head a bit. So London's got to make sure they keep their focus and just focus on executing what they want to do and figure out the Halifax problem later. Just keep doing what you got to do.
Well, I agree with that. Don't stall your offense. You got almost 11 minutes, almost a whole quarter to play. You got to keep playing at the pace you played all game. That got you that lead. Play to win, not to lose. That's a blocking foul with Cadogan going hard to the hoop. I believe that was Haywood took the brunt of that punishment. A lot of stoppages in play at the people going to the foul line. So Cadogan will be shooting too as well.
Yeah, Cadogan, a really interesting player for the London Lightning. He's almost a lot like Clifford Clinkscales, what Clinkscales does for Halifax, and that Cadogan, he runs the offense, and he's got a really good feel for the flow of the game. He knows when to speed up, slow down, and that's something that doesn't show up on a stat sheet, but I know London finds very valuable.
Well, he's tasked with guarding Antoine Mason right now, his junior Cadogan. That's a tough matchup for anybody. He sheds Cadogan quite quickly. He's wide open for the three-pointer, unable to convert. Big rebound by Garrett Williamson, who does all that dirty work, like I said. Freezing right beside him, the other dirty work man, I call him. But you need those players to clean up things. As Cadogan turns the corner, takes the punishment, cannot convert, though, and Halifax running the ball out. And that's Clinkscale just running circles around Phillips that time, and Mason easily to the basket.
Great transition offense from it was almost a broken transition offense from the Hurricanes, but Mason making the most of it and able to connect with the pass.
That was Haywood just pushing the ball at lightning speed. A lot of contact inside again. People fighting through the screens, sticking their arms up, and really hitting the offensive player, and the referee calls that right away. That's 2 quick fouls on both teams right now, early in this fourth quarter. That might come to play later on in the quarter when the bonus is on. Royce White back in the game. He's got 4 fouls. See how he plays. Anderson with the ball up top. Again, a handoff for Anderson. That time blocked that time by Bowen. And a running layup by Joey Haywood. Clutch play. London could not keep up with the speed, and I think that's a foul on Anderson.
Joey Haywood's had a fantastic second half here, putting up some big possessions for the Halifax Hurricanes. He's going to get himself to the line and one with that finish right there. Great job by the former Canadian of the Year.
So that was Anderson had the foul that time. Not sure how many he has now.
Ryan Anderson sitting at 3 after that one.
Okay, so Kyle Johnson in. Haywood at the line. So, London possession here. It's sort of gone away from Royce White. He hasn't been on the floor as much either, to be honest with you, but I think they really need to run everything through Royce White. Doesn't mean he needs to score just like that. What a court vision and a back cut by Garrett Williamson for a quick 2. And here's the man of the hour right now, Joey Haywood, just unstoppable. That time a bit of a wild throw, and this is Cadogan with the crossover dribble and a foul at half. The fouls are mounting up quickly here, 3 for each team now. London ball to the side. He's far. I don't know what Coach Kyle Julius is arguing about a shot. There's no way he was taking a shot from back there. Here's the foul right here.
I almost thought Cadogan had a brilliant crossover to get himself free, too.
Again, pounding it inside to Royce White. He's got Cox on him. This time a jump shot. This time he's feeling it. Terrific pass and now a basket, opening it back up to 11-point lead. Joey Haywood taking the brunt of the dribbling. Clinskill finally gets the ball back in his hands. Up top here for Bowen. That's a nice drive with a long extension over Garrett Williamson. He's really come alive here in the fourth quarter. A couple big threes, a couple good drives. Oh, he's wide open was Garrett Williamson, but they couldn't get the ball to him in time. Now he gets it, looking for a reverse, and he draws the foul on Mason. I'm not sure if that was a really great call. He was pinned underneath the backboard, nowhere to go. I don't think we have a look at that one and see, did Mason bail him out? Did he do anything? It looks like he's pushing with a chest. Not really. I don't see a whole lot there. There's a lot more going on in the game. That's unfortunate for Mason. But Williamson going to the line. London will take it. That'll be 4 on Antoine Mason.
That's trouble because they've got a couple guys now on Halifax find themselves in some foul trouble.
And Williamson makes them pay. Puts them both in. Substitution in for London, so Williamson getting the break. I would think that's probably going to be his final break for this game. I'm sure he'll be in for the home stretch. Basically, somebody who I call the team captain, really, and the senior person on this team. Cut off by White on a much smaller player. Hand on it for a deflection. And Cadogan, that's a tough screen by White. And Cadogan finishes it. Now screen was on Anthony Cox. Whoa! Push off foul this time on Cadogan. He's just racing back to try to catch up with Mason, but hard to tell who created the contact there. But like I said, the offensive player almost always gets the benefit of the doubt if the defensive player is not in a good defensive position. So 4 team fouls here. Here we see a finish by Cadogan on the layup. But Mason, again, doing that lead shoulder, and there is finally an offensive call. And a 5th foul on Antoine Mason. I wouldn't say he's been getting away with that all game, but that is a professional move, that little shoulder on the dribble. Most of the time you don't get called for it, and you get that advantage. But that time an offensive foul, huge one on Halifax's Antoine Mason. 13 points up. London ball, the crowd is going wild.
That was just some excellent play there. A little bit chippy between the two teams. We're starting to see a bit of that heat. Of course, Cox got absolutely leveled by that screen from Royce White, who, he has his hands up. He wasn't really trying to cause any harm to Cox there. He just kind of stood still and Cox ran into him. And then Junior Cadogan, a couple of really sharp plays, including the one that gets London the ball. They got the crowd into it, and then Halifax forced to call a timeout because of that. We're going to see Royce White here with a nice move. I believe this is the jumper. Yes, it is. Look at that.
Smooth as silk. Well, that was a big push and a lot of energy expended those last few minutes. And the end result is London's back up by 13.
And again, the Hurricanes have been creeping in, but that's the first time in a bit that London's really started to pull that gap a little further away than we usually see.
Well, Joey Haywood on that replay, I think he was the man of the hour there in that fourth quarter, really galvanizing his team with his pace of play, some clutch shooting as well. That's Mason, of course, always a danger, an easy basket put back for him. But Mason, 5 fouls now, that's going to really hurt the Halifax Hurricanes. I don't know if you take him out or not.
I think at this point in the game, with potential to lose a championship here, I think you got to put all your big guns in right now. There's about 8 minutes left in the quarter, 8:02 in fact. but I think you're down by this much. If you're not going to do it now, when are you going to do it?
Well, like you said, he's on the floor. It'll be Halifax ball. Oh, no, London ball, sorry. After that offensive charge by Antoine Mason. So not only up by 13, they also get the ball. Just under 8 minutes to play in this game. Will it be the final game of the year, or will Halifax have enough to bring it back for game number 7? Klingskill tracks that ball down after that shot by Royce White. He was feeling it, but that one didn't go in for him. This is Mason. He can score from anywhere, we know. Bowen, he's been shooting the ball well this quarter. And Klingskill, of course, 4 of 5 from 3. Here's Bowen again with a wide open. He's made 2 already. Make that 3. London leaving him wide open. He's already shown he can shoot it.
Yeah, he's shooting the ball well tonight. He's 7 of 10. That's going to give him 18 points in the game.
Wow, that's a terrific contribution from an unexpected source, really.
Well, there have been games where Bowen hasn't even played in the finals, so to have that kind of an impact from a guy like that is just a bonus.
Good defense that time by Cox, holding position. Good outlet pass. Antoine Mason running wild. That's in the corner to Haywood. 2 quick threes, and they are back in this game. And London looking for better execution on offense. Coach Kyle Julius furious at the wide open shots. 2 wide open threes by Halifax.
And that's going to be an automatic shot for Joey Haywood. I mean, you give him that corner 3, he's going to make it. And another one there for the former Canadian of the year, and a all-Canadian player this year too. So an excellent play. And also Mason, what he did on that fast break was he drifted towards the rim. He forces the defender to not leave him. He forces the defender to stay on him so that Haywood can stay open in the corner, because the defenders can't let Mason have that open lane. So what he does is he pulls himself away from Haywood and lets Haywood be open in the corner to drill that 3. So a nice play in transition for Mason too to find him.
Just a clutch shooting by Joey Haywood. What's he up for points now?
Joey Haywood's up to 22 points, 7 of 18 shooting.
Goodness.
And that shooting number wasn't very pretty. At one point it was 4 of 12, but now 7 of 18, a much better number for the Canadian, and 3 of 7 from the three-point line as well.
Well, they are not going away. It's down to 7 points.
A couple of big performances here as well. You got Antoine Mason, 31 points, 10 of 18 shooting. And then Royce White for London, 30 points, 13 rebounds, 7 assists for London's big man.
Well, give Halifax a lot of credit. We said on the top of the show they had to fill in the gaps. That Billy White and C.J. Washington left a combination of 36 points and 19 rebounds in that lineup throughout the playoffs. Somebody somewhere had to fill in for him. And we're looking at Joey Haywood. And of course, Aaron Bowen filling that gap. So again, looking inside, Cadogan taking it to the hole that time, and he wanted to dump it off to White, but I thought he would be his best serve taking it to the hoop with his strength. He's looking for his teammate. It's an alley-oop up to Cox. Cox into the corner again, and that's Haywood's favorite spot. Unable to convert, but he had a wide open 3. Oh my goodness. Kyle Johnson up top with the ball. Well defended that time. Step back jumper. That's
Easy
a
call.
follow through foul by Mike Poole. He did everything right, but the last little bit, stepping under the defender, under the offensive player as a defender.
If he'd gone straight up and down, that would have been fine, because in terms of the way he positioned his body, he had his arms straight up and down, that's fine, but he jumped into the player. If he had gone straight up and down, that would have been better.
Well, does it come down to foul shots this game? We wouldn't have thought so 5-6 minutes ago with a 20-point lead, but it may now.
Well, it definitely has been a Jekyll and Hyde quarter for the London Lightning. We see some good runs and some of the play that got them the lead that they've had pretty much the whole game, but you know, every so often they just kind of lose focus a bit defensively and let Halifax go on these runs.
Well, I'd certainly be concentrating on Mason and Haywood if I were London, that's for sure. They've been the 2 biggest contributors in this comeback. Terrific play that time as well. Again, just in and out. White able to hold on to that ball. This time Herring Jr. doing the right thing, taking it to the hoop and drawing the foul by Poole. He had no other choice.
That's going to be 4 on Poole. He really just had to reach because Doug Herring Jr. had a clear path to the rim if he didn't. So for Doug Herring Jr., that's going to send him to the line. We're going to see that here. He still almost finished it by switching hands, which would have been quite the impressive play.
That would have been a Michael Jordan play. Remember
Almost.
that from the playoffs? Way back when. You still show that highlight.
Not quite as violently fouled as Michael was on that one, but
right
yeah.
in midair, he switches hand in the last second, right?
It's like me
Famous play.
It's like me in men's league.
Really?
No.
That's because you fumbled it out of your other hand, into your other hand.
Well, I tried switching hands. I didn't have the ball still.
Okay, extends it to 10 points. Just under 6 minutes to go. Klinkskill taking it to the hoop with the Lily under scoop there. Couldn't quite convert. London trying to make every possession go as much in the shot clock as possible and convert so they don't put up a poor one. There's Doug Herring Jr. got the open lane.
Good screen by Royce White, set up Herring Jr. for that. Knocked Bowen on his heels.
Herring, Joey Haywood just pushing that ball down to the hoop. Friesen did a good job initially defending him, but the offensive board picked up by Halifax and fouled. And that's Mike Poole going to the line. Just quick as a blink of an eye, and Joey Haywood goes from one end of the court to the other, doesn't he?
He's a very speedy player, and that's part that really extends even to his shot. It's almost like he's always going 100 miles per hour when you see him with the ball.
Doug Herring Jr., this is where his experience is so valuable. Coming in off the bench, playing these key minutes in a championship game. Royce White up top, trying to free up his teammate Ryan Anderson. Kyle Johnson is down to 4 seconds. He's going to have to get his shot off. That's blocked. That should still be London ball, I believe. London Lightning ball with only 1 second to go, I believe, on the shot clock.
Mike Poole talking to the ref. He took a really tough hit from Royce White coming around the screen there.
Well, I believe this is going to be the alley-oop play to Marcus Capers, I believe. A couple screens. What do you think? See what I tell you? He couldn't get to the basket, though, and that's going to be Halifax ball. They read it very well. Cox showing some emotion. Again, dribble penetration from Halifax and a little handoff, getting London into trouble.
And it's been working. I think they kind of found out just a tad late, and that's a nice play there. I believe Clinkscales dropped that off for Cox.
Two shots. Well, we're under 5 minutes here to go. Still a 10-point spread. Halifax trying to get it down to within 5 if they possibly can. These last few minutes, it gives them some chances to get back into the game. First foul shot missed. Mason sitting on a bench right now. Makes his second after loud boos from the crowd. Kept his concentration. Anderson and Johnson, along with Capers and Herring, and of course Royce White on the court for London. Cox really overplaying White, trying to keep him from getting too much of an interior possession here. It looks like, again, Halifax trying to fight through the screens, but being too physical. They get called, and that should be a shooting foul now because they are at the limit.
You know, it's too bad, too, because for London, they had Royce White ISOing Anthony Cox there. That could have ended up being 2 points easily.
So Anderson makes his first. London's been to the line quite a few times tonight. That would make it 34 for 38 for London. My, oh my, 34 points from the foul line. That's amazing. Can't make a second one, though. So still a 10-point game here with just over 4 minutes. What has Halifax got left? Antoine Mason back in the ball game. A long shot again. He's made 3 of them already. Has Bowen, but unable to convert that clutch one. Down to 4 minutes to go. London smelling it. Royce White taking to the hoop, and a slam dunk. A little bit of a push off with his shoulder, which doesn't get called often, and he just slams it down for them, making a 12-point lead. Halifax needs some baskets and they need some stops, and that is Royce White hedging on Clinkscale. He gets an unnecessary foul. He had him cornered on the sideline, and just a little too much hand contact on there. He had done such a good job hemming in much smaller point guard. Foolish foul for Royce White. That'll be his 5th after such a huge play with that dunk. There's still lots of time left in this game. 3:49 for Halifax. The way they can shoot the threes, particularly Mason and Haywood. You cannot let them off the floor if you're London, if you want to win it tonight. Clinkscale makes his foul shot. Now looking at the stats, they're 22 for 28. So 22 points off the foul line for Halifax and 34 for London. And that's pretty well the difference in the game here tonight as well. Makes his second 2 big foul shots. Now White needs to keep his composure. They need him as a key player down the stretch. Doug Herring Jr. still in. That's the point guard instead of Cadogan. Anderson with a 3-point look, and a big 3-point look, and a wide open look. What was Halifax thinking, not chasing him off the line? That was huge. This is Joey Haywood with his quickness again. He gets it up and over. It cannot convert though. And that's Doug Herring fighting hard for the rebound. He needs some help. He's pinned down. Anderson into the open area. Kyle Johnson, Miles will shoot in rotation. 2 big threes for the Lightning. Might put this game away. That's going to be a timeout by Halifax. Some clutch shooting by the 2 best 3-point shooters from the London Lightning, Ryan Anderson and Kyle Johnson, and the crowd loves it.
2 absolutely huge threes right there, and just like that, London very much safer in their position at the top of the scoreboard right there. 123-107. Some excellent shooting from Kyle Johnson, Ryan Anderson. They've been doing this all year, and gives London that key lead.
2 big threes, 2 defensive lapses by Halifax on the 2 best shooters from the London Lightning from all year.
And, you know, Anderson, he hasn't needed to do a ton of scoring. He was big in the first half, and he hasn't had to do a ton of scoring in the second half, but you almost forgot about him, and then that's when he comes in with that clutch 3-pointer. He's having a great night, 6 of 10 beyond the arc himself for 23 points. And then Kyle Johnson there, 3 of 5 from 3-point land right there.
What a turnaround in events. It was down to 7 or 8 points. And 2 defensive lapses by Halifax, shooting London back into the lead. This is going to be tough to come back with just under 4 minutes to go, especially when London's going to play the shot clock every time. They're only going to get so many possessions.
They got 3:06 right now, and they need quite a few points here. 16 points is the gap right now. London fans are going to keep the team into it. The team's energized. It's going to be tough to stop.
So 3:06 left. Set the table for you. This is Game 6. London's up 3 games to 2. They're on their home court. Halifax making a great comeback of it. Many times they've come back in this game. 2 big possessions back-to-back have shot the London Lightning into this lead, 16 points. London looking for their 3rd championship. A quick shot that time, tipped I think that time, and Doug Herring Jr. chases the ball down. And now London, I'm sure, will work the shot clock as much as they can unless they get a wide open shot. There's the wide open what we're talking about. Up and easy for Royce White. Even with all his fouls, he's still contributing on both ends. Mason with a quick 3-pointer, unable to convert that time, and Capers with his leaping ability gets that defensive board. Capers unable to convert that time. But it's a matter of time now. And Mason nowhere to go with that time. Too far under the basket. And a slam dunk for Kyle Johnson. I think that's going to be putting the crowning touch on their championship for this year. 127-107. Mason unable to convert that putback, but this will be an easy one for Ronaldo Dixon, who's been in foul trouble and has been ineffective in the second half. 1:49 to go. London looking for their third championship in the 6 years of the existence of the NBL. I think they're well on their way here. Big hard foul by Royce White again on Mason. Clinkscale with the offensive board, or defensive board to Mason, and Herring Jr. lets him go, knowing that's of no consequence anymore with 1:28 to go. 127-111.
You can see the London crowd getting into it. They know what's close right now. They know it's almost that time.
Crowd giving a big hand to the Lightning. The last two players on the bench, Marvin Singleton and Maurice Bolden, are going to be coming into the game to get a taste of this final Game 6 of the championship series. Capers with a three-point shot, unable to convert. That's an intentional foul on purpose by Doug Herring Jr. to stop the clock to get those two players into the game. And Ryan Anderson and Royce White hugging each other at half court. They've been a couple of the key cogs for the London Lightning. They're already congratulating each other. Here comes Bolden. We know his story. Suffered a personal tragedy a few weeks ago, but on the court for the end of the season with the London Lightning. And of course, Mr. Practice as hard as he plays. Marvin Singleton, his coach, says he keeps his teammates honest by practicing so hard. Now he gets rewarded for some playing time, does Marvin Singleton, number 12. 127-111, just over a minute to go. Clinkscale, who's hardly been off the floor for Halifax Hurricanes, playing terrific tonight. He's made a number of threes tonight, some good passes as well. He's up to 19 points. That'll make it 20 for him, along with 13 assists for Clifford Clinkscale. What can you say about his play tonight? He brought everything tonight, and it just wasn't enough to match this London Lightning team and their depth. Clinkscale going off, his teammates giving him a warm round of applause for the play he's done tonight. So his season is finished. But he finishes with 20 and 13. 20 points and 13 assists. Singleton with the ball up top, throwing the ball around the Bolden. See if they still get a shot off here. 10 seconds ago, the two players getting the feature. Here's a long three-point shot by Bolden. Unable to convert, and Joey Haywood, still the Energizer Bunny, going at 100 miles an hour. Draws the foul from Singleton. There's no quitting that guy. You can't slow him down no matter what. Joey Haywood going to the foul line. Of course, he was a big spark in that third quarter, beginning of the fourth quarter. He's up to 22 points already tonight. He's been to the foul line a number of times as well. To be a 7th and 8th attempt at the foul line, 5 for 6 so far. So, closing out the season for Halifax. They've had a terrific season. Finished first out in the East, of course. Last year's defending champions beat London Lightning 7 games last year. To this year, it goes to 6 games. London wins on their home court. Halifax giving it all they can, but in the end, just running out of manpower, I would say, and scoring power, and just too many weapons at London's disposal. Joey Haywood getting subbed out as well. Some of the players that haven't played much for Halifax getting on the floor as well. Doug Herring Jr. What a terrific pickup for them partway through the year for the Lightning. Marvin Singleton will take a long three, and that goes in and out. And a follow-up by Kyle Johnson off of Maurice Bolden tip-in. I wonder if he gets an assist for that and gets on the stat sheet. A long pass for Halifax to close out the game, and here they can finish the game now. Singleton, there's no time left on the shot clock. They can just dribble the score clock out. A lot of respect between these two teams. 129-116 is going to be the final score. London Lightning will have their third championship in 6 years in the league's existence. Marvin Singleton dribbling the timeout. Already the players are shaking hands, and a huge roar from the crowd. They are officially the 2017 NBLC championships, the London Lightning. confetti all over the floor. I'm sure we'll see presentation of the trophies as well. But some huge stats in the game. One of the biggest ones, of course, 39 free throw attempts, 34 made for the London Lightning. That sealed the deal for them, plus some clutch shooting as well from the three-point line. White with 34 points and 15 rebounds and 9 assists, leading his team in all three categories. Who would you vote for MVP? Well, I know who I'd vote for MVP. So 129, 116. It's been a long season, started just before Christmas, or just after Christmas, and here we are. The final event here on Monday night, June the 5th, the end of the NBL season. London Lightning the champions. Have a look at some more of the stats as we hear the music playing on the floor. Some of the key ones I told you about. Royce White with that huge game tonight, even with the 5 fouls at the end. But no give up in the Halifax Hurricanes. Tell you, some of those subs, they came in and played terrific. Clifford Klinkskills, 19 points. Mason with 31. And look at Aaron Bowen with 18 off the bench, no less, to help his team stay in the game. But in the end, there was too much London Lightning, too much firepower, some clutch shooting in the end. That's what we've seen all year. They've been the best team all year, have the London Lightning, and they finally show it in a hard-fought series. 4 games to 2 over the Halifax Hurricanes. As we watch some of the celebration on the floor, I'm sure the presentations of the trophy will be happening soon as well as the announcement of the MVP for the playoffs. My vote goes for Royce White. I can't see how it could be any different, especially based on this game. Well, we hope you enjoyed your telecast this year on Knockstrom TV. I had a great time along with Chris Croucher. My name's Jonathan Howlingen. Of course, Alex is our producer. We aim to serve you as much as we can on these telecasts, make it a great experience for you. And hopefully you enjoyed watching it from here in Ontario and all the way over on the East Coast as well. We will be back next year, I am sure, again. Another great season of basketball in Canada. What a great league to develop talent, to see talent. Lots of Canadians as well on the rosters. Of course, some of them playing a key part here in this championship and for the Halifax Hurricanes.
All right, here with Marvin Phillips. Marvin, you were part of the 2013 championship team a few years ago. And now you came back after being absent for a year with this London Lightning squad. How can you compare this team this year from the one that won it back in 2013?
Oh, man, there's really no comparison at all. If you remember at that time when we won the championship, we won it on the road. You know what I mean? We took care of business as a unit. It's a complete season. You know, I came in a little bit late. You know, this team is, you know, a good group of guys. We get to win it at home in front of this beautiful amount of fans. You know, it's lovely, man. It's just a great team, starting from the coach all the way to the last person on the roster.
I remember 4 years ago, it took a couple of free throws to ice it all off. You came off the bench this year and provided one of the finest exhibitions when it was needed. How do you describe your position after all that's been going through all this year?
It's real tough, man, to be honest with you. You know, coming here from, like you said, what I've already done before, and then coming here.
More time! Marvin, we're going to let you go. Enjoy this moment. Congratulations. Let's go over the courtside to David Mangley for the trophy presentation.
First of all, congratulations to the Halifax Hurricanes. They have a fabulous team. They have been in division. They have been in division from the beginning of the season till the end. And they came out and they competed hard for a short staff. They took the best team in the history of our league regular season to
huge season, a monumental one, and you end it with a championship. What's going through your head right now?
Just gratitude for the opportunity to be here. You know, it's hard to get a coaching job, and from a personal standpoint, I feel so blessed. And then I feel really thankful to the guys. I pushed the heck out of them all year, and they really worked their tails off. Just really blessed. Just feel grateful.
You came from coaching from the Mississauga Power, then a few years later started coaching the London Lightning. Last year, I'm sure, was a heartbreaker going down in 7 games. How does it feel now to play the reversal of fortune this year and pull it all off?
The thrill of victory, the agony of defeat, and that loss hurt for a long time, man. And this really kind of erases it. It makes it all worth it. I'm just so grateful to be a part of this whole thing.
And one of the greatest teams in NBL Canada history. Justin Prince even said it too and called it, so shout outs to that. But Kyle, an admirable effort nonetheless. Unbelievable. Chris.
Yeah, thank you. Go and celebrate with your team. There's a photo right there, right? Congrats.
Look at all the confetti right here, Chris.
Wow.
I mean, we might as well party like it's 2012 all over again. That's the last time the Lightning won the championship here at home, 116-92 against the Halifax Raymond. But the score says 129-116. What an incredible effort. It all started with Ryan Anderson catching the fire, then Kyle Johnson going into it, Junior Condugan, and of course another double-double by Royce White. We'll get your input in a moment, but first we go over back to the commissioner for the presentation of the MVP trophy.
We was here training since October. We lost last year. Man, we've been working so hard. I want to thank my wife. She's not here with me. She's looked like she's been at home 2 years grinding back in Nebraska. I want to thank her for allowing me to be up here. And last but not least, man, I want to thank my teammates. Royce, Doug, Bishop, G, Tone, Mo, Big Dog, Muscles, Joe, Julian. Thank you guys, man. Thank you, man.
We got one more call here for the fan. One more call for the fan. Y'all ready? Y'all ready?
All right, we have Ryan Anderson with us, the playoffs MVP, most likely the finals MVP. I don't know what's going on in your mind, Ryan, but the way you've been sharpshooting these threes the whole year, it goes back to Cape Breton. You just put on a phenomenal display. You exploded like a firecracker tonight. What was the motivation?
I told Royce tonight I was going to shoot him from as far as I could to stretch the defense and give him space to work. And Royce did a great job of finding me, man. Like, me and him developed the chemistry to where if the defense would even turn their head, I knew the ball was coming. And coach, my teammates, Junior, everybody just did a good job of finding me, man. And all the hard work we put in, it paid off, man. You know what I'm saying? For all you young people out there that's working hard, man, don't stop working hard because when the time is right, man, it always pays off, man. It always pays off.
After being so close last year, how much sweeter is this one?
Man, this was sweet, man. We actually started building after we lost. That same day in the lobby, I met with Coach Vito, and we just started devising a plan and how we were going to try to do it this year, man. We came real close this year, but this year, man, we did it off the scale of what I thought we would do. Like we destroyed the whole, and it was just awesome, man. Up and down records everywhere. I'm just grateful, man. I'm really grateful.
Ryan, you are a part of history yourself. You're one of the few players that actually won a championship with multiple teams 2 years ago with the Express, no question about it. And now you're part of a championship team as part of the London Lightning. What does that mean to you to win it in multiple teams?
Man, I mean, there's something to it. Championship is a recipe. If you see, winning championships is a recipe. It's a culture. It's a mindset. It's a togetherness. It's a sacrifice. And at any given time, if you can get guys to continually buy in and sacrifice and work hard and continue to sacrifice and work hard and be together, then this is when amazing things happens. And I just been blessed and fortunate to be a part of teams that guys are willing to sacrifice. And so when you put your individual goals down for the betterment of the team, you be in the Raptors. You'll be hanging in the Raptors forever, man.
And you will definitely be up there. Congratulations, well deserved. All the best, and go party hard.
Hey, man, I get a shout out to my wife and my family. My wife, man, love you, babe. And my family back home in Seattle, I love you guys. And love you guys. Just can't wait to see you guys.
There you go. Ryan Anderson, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. Joey Strong right there throwing the confetti. Chris, let's try to find more people, but as we do that, we just got to go down and how did this Game 6 come to be? Because nobody thought it would be this easy for the London Lightning, but if you have voids like the Halifax Hurricanes, you really got to try hard to grind it. But once again, hats off to Hurricanes for trying to fight, knowing that there was a big deficit along the way.
Yeah, the Hurricanes put up a tremendous effort. They did everything they could have. They were hurt by injuries, but hats off to them. They really showed the heart of a champion. And, a lot of those guys were on that team last year. They really showed a lot in that game and in this whole series. And it's unfortunate, but there can only be one champ. Yeah. But that's how it is.
It's just speechless. It's speechless. We're going to try to find the owner of the London Lightning, Vito Frisia. So we'll pause for a moment, and we'll get him right after this break. We return to the Knoxon Post game with the London Lightning. Once again, our NBLC champions joining us, Commissioner David Megley. And you've seen how it went last year and this year, a complete reversal of fortune. What can you say about how this final series went down?
I think both franchises will be complimented. I think that the job that Coach Mike did, Leslie did with his team and shorthanded team to compete against one of the best teams we've ever seen is remarkable. And then Coach Julius and his squad just came out and grinded out, and a lot of talent, coached very, very well. And it's just wonderful to see the very best come out. It was a great series. It was awesome.
In your time as commissioner, you've seen a lot of championships. What about this London team do you think is going to stick out for the foreseeable future when people look back on this championship?
I think when you have that much talent and everybody accepts roles, it's nothing but shocking to see everybody play as hard as they do and do what they do for the good of the team. And it's just, it's Vito does an amazing job with everybody, and it's just really good to see this go forward that way.
And we thank you for your time, Commissioner. It was another great season, and we greatly appreciate your time.
You guys do a wonderful job, and I appreciate you all.
Thank you.
Right,
Thank you very much. So we're still on the hunt for Vito Frisia. So all I say is, let's try to look for some people. If not, where is Vito? Well, while Chris keeps looking, let me just break down what we've seen in Game 6. This Budweiser this Budweiser Gardens crowd was crazy right at the beginning. The doors opened around 6:30 p.m., 1 hour before the game, and they smelt the championship. They saw the championship as well. And in the all together, they got the championship. But let's just freeze for a moment to say hello to the Freeze man, Joel Friesen, and unbelievable, man. Let me tell you first off that you're part of Ryan Anderson winning championships with multiple teams. Last year you were with Halifax, and this year you went down west with London. How do you describe this team after all that you guys have been through?
You know, we just stayed resilient. You know, the season's a long grind. There's a lot of hills, a lot of valleys. You know, we stuck together. We kept the chemistry through the adversity of a season, and I'm just proud of my teammates. I'm extremely excited to be a two-time champion on two different teams. I'm just extremely excited for my guys who lost last year and came back and won. I'm just proud of everybody, man. It's been a grind. Man, I'm just excited.
Now, as a Canadian, how much does it mean to you to be able to do something like this in Canada?
It means the world to me. This is a dream come true. I never thought, you never in my wildest dreams, I think there'd be a league, in Canada, a pro league, where I could come up from elementary school, come all the way up to university, stay in Canada and then go pro. So, to win at the top level in Canada is an absolute blessing.
Never a frozen moment with Friesen. I thank you for all your time. You got to break the ice somehow. Joel, wonderful season. Enjoy the celebration and have a great off season, hey?
Appreciate you guys. Good
Thank
work
you.
out there.
Thank you very much. So now we're still looking for Vito Frigia. Any other locations we got to look for Vito, Chris? I'll tell you, unbelievable. Yeah, probably not. These guys are partying hard as we walk into the storm, or the eye of the hurricane, rather. My goodness. But this is fantastic. I believe Chris Croucher has found somebody that we've been dying to meet, and we'll get him in just a moment. But man, when you look at it in the all together, you got to fight 40 seasons. You got to fight 40 games in a season to go all hard like this. And then for the London Lightning only to lose 2 games, and that was in the finals. They really gave a big description of how this team really is. A nitty-gritty team, fantastic effort, and in a moment we're going to get Royce White. Royce White joining us right now, and unbelievable, Royce. You came right to the great white north, this great nation, and you guys just completely destroyed it. What is your initial reaction to all this, now an NBL Canada champion?
It's a sweet victory. Like I said, man, we set a goal and we accomplished it. That always means something. And the fashion that we did it in, it was historic. And that means something as well. But the way that we did it behind the scenes, the brotherhood that we had, the work that we put in, the trust that we had in our coach, the support that we had from our families. Like Ryan said, his wife, 2 years been at home away from him. So for us to win it is incredible, and you really can't put into words other than it's one of the best things you could do.
All right, league MVP, triple-double record, the all-time one, and he did in 1 year. Yeah. And now an NBL champion. Yeah. How do you think your first year in London went?
Hey, I'm a winner. Bring the commissioner back out here and ask him what he thinks of me. You know what I'm saying? I'm a winner. He can't take that from me. He could try and do what he wants to do, but at the end of the day, winners are winners. Period.
And there you go. And you can't roll Royce. This guy's moving like a car. You can't roll Royce, but a fantastic player. He's put on one of the greatest exhibitions most of you seen. Average a double-double in the playoffs. Average a double-double in the regular season. Royce, my hat's off to you. It's been truly a pleasure to see you play.
Thank you.
Now, this is more unbelievable. I see Vito Frigia. Let's go get him.
Jessica, you didn't give me one. No, that's your Daniels. Did you give one to Bird?
Yeah, Bird has one.
Give me an extra one.
I only have L. We have to switch it.
Okay. Our Lord.
Yep, we're ready.
How you doing?
All right, you're good now, Vito?
We got camera right there, right? Camera right here.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, guys.
Yep.
And we're with the owner of the London Lightning, Vito Frigia. In a way, this feels like you guys could party like it's 2012 all over again, because that's the last time you guys went on a home court. Now you fast forward 5 years later, 3 championships under your belt, another jewel in that crown. How does that sound to you?
Well, every championship is extremely special, and you know, it's a memory you'll never forget. As the owner, the coach, players, but you know, I want to really thank all my staff, support staff, staff at the games, game staff, their cheerleaders, the mascots, the staff here at Budweiser. They did a great job. They all believed in us. They all helped us win, and you know, I'm not going to forget this for the rest of my life, just like the other two. And, you know, the outpouring of emotions I get from some of the fans here is unbelievable. So I want to thank you guys for your work and supporting us, and I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Okay? Thanks,
That's
guys.
your
You guys did
third
a good
one.
job.
That's your third one. What stands out about this one?
Well, they're all special. You know, what really stands out in my mind is how hard the players worked, especially the guys that have been here a number of years, like Garrett and Ryan. They left last year with we're coming back and we're going to win one. We're coming back and they've been working on this for this day for a long time. So
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Vito. Man, oh man, so many interviews, 40 games in the regular season, in the books rather. You have so many of these playoff games. It took 11 wins to do it. Like we keep on mentioning over and over again, they only lost 2, and that happened here in the championship series. How do you sum up this London Lightning team when it comes to all of that, finishing up 35-5, champion basketeers nonetheless?
You know, I think Royce said it best when he talked about how they're all brothers. And I think that's the thing that when I look back on this team, I'm going to remember just the chemistry that these guys had when they played on the court, the way they all seemed to kind of know where each other were going to be. And it was clear the work that they had put in practices to get a feel for how each other like to play. And I think it's that team chemistry. The fact that they were brothers, I think, is the thing that stands out to me when I look back on this team.
How do you wrap up this whole season as a whole? We welcome 2 new teams in there, and probably one of the best seasons in NBL Canada history. We keep on saying that every year, but it's the competition that drives us to say that, and what we've seen on the court is a pure example of all that.
Yeah, I think it was definitely an exciting year in NBL Canada. I think the way that we saw, the Island Storm Halifax series was one of the best series I think I've seen in NBL Canada. That was a great series. You look at all the records that London broke throughout the year. I think back to the 51-point game by Kyle Johnson. I think to the way Kitchener-Waterloo, a 3 seed in their very first season. I think that's something you look back on fondly, and just, a lot of really great things happened this year in NBL Canada, and I'm sure there's more to come.
And there's more history right onto it and more facts. Halifax became the 3rd team to limit the London Lightning under 100 points. That happened in the playoffs, and it's quite rare to do it, considering if you have a run-and-gun offense and a very master-lock defense, when you come to all of that, that's how I see it. But you look at the players, you look at the staff right behind it. That's what makes a championship team, for them to come together for a tough 6-month war, starting at Boxing Day nonetheless. It's really hard to put it in words, but absolutely amazing.
Just an incredible year. You look at London and all the things that they were able to do, and it's something I think it'll be hard to replicate, just the kind of run that they had this year.
And it's a pleasure to have you right on board once again. 2nd year,
Always
Knoxville.tv.
happy.
Always happy. And you know what? That's how we wrap it up. But before we sign off right here, I want to make 2 quick tributes to not only Gary Gibson's family, whose baby boy is suffering through brain cancer. God bless you. We wish you all the best, but especially to the Windsor Express DJ Thorold Finley. For most of you know as DJ Thor, you're in our prayers. This is a long, hard-fought battle, and we hope that you fight it with 110%. A lot of these people fight on the court, but it's life that we have to fight through every day, and we hope that you fight through and persevere. God bless all of you. Now, what do we say at the end of all this? Well, you know, we welcome two teams, the Cape Breton Highlanders and the KW Titans this year. Put on great competition and put on a tremendous season, but it was one of those two that made the playoffs, like Chris Croucher said, that ended up in the 3rd seed and gave the Windsor Express a great run. You see all these players out there celebrating. If you go back to it 6 months ago, you knew the pursuit was on. Everybody was hungry. There were a lot of teams fighting right after the bit. They were grinding hard. And now when you look at it, you go down to 8 teams in the playoffs, cut it down to 4, and then the 2. We had Halifax and London fight for it, and in 6 games, the London Lightning persevered, and they put another jewel in that crown, 3rd straight. And you know, this is our 2nd year doing coverage of the London Lightning here on Knocksham.tv, our 5th season overall with the league, and this is the first time we have done a championship clinching game, and it has been beautiful. You look at the players once again, Royce White, Garrett Williamson, Joel Friesen, Ryan Anderson, to name a few. They made the show, and they made it worth the dollars and cents it was to pay for the admission of the tickets to come down here. And all of you, the viewers, got a good research out of all that and got a little bit of lessons to learn there too. But it's the players that are on the court that provides the lesson. Like they say, ball is life, but when you look at it, at the end of the day, one stands, and they are the champions. And for those who are watching in Sudbury, we cannot wait to see your new Sudbury team come out next season. It's going to be a good one as we expand this league more and more. It's what we've been doing every year. It's the visions of the Commissioner David Mengley and out the whole leagues and the owners of every team that's out there. And we couldn't have done it without you, the viewers, once again. To the fans, you have been great. And we thank you very much from the bottom of our hearts for making this a great season here at Knocksham.tv and the NBL Canada's 6th season. Let's go on for the 7th one. It's going to take a while. We're going to see a lot of things happen during the off season, but one thing's for certain, this is a memory that will last. The pursuit may be over, but the journey will always continue, and it will never die. Once again, London Lightning are champions after 6 games. And we cannot thank you enough for all that. Izzy Grondin on camera, Dan Shelley on camera. I want to send a big shout out to the JP Justin Prince, who couldn't be with us this evening, but we know he did a tremendous job. And then, of course, we have the commentators ranging from Windsor all the way here to London. Like we said, Chris Croucher, John Van Halen, everybody else that made a big benefit to this Knocksham.tv crew made it worthwhile. So after 6 months, we turn in our mics, we hang up the jerseys as the final buzzer goes. Once again, we hope to see you once again in December. And now, for the final time, this has been a presentation of Knocksham Digital Media, producing the media excellence in Southern Ontario. Until Boxing Day, December, for Chris Croucher and everybody in the whole Knocksham.tv crew, this be Aaron Sanders saying so long from the Forest City.